My husband only wants to hook up to have a baby.
That's an interesting reason.
Well, I, female 26, have recently gotten married to my husband, Edward, male 26, 2 months ago. We both attended the same church ever since we were born. Wow. And I started to like him over the years. At 20 years old, we started gradually talking to each other and got engaged by 24. By the way, this comes from Normal Bottle 641, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So my husband is very religious and never misses a service. I too am religious, but not as much as him. Put an ICU in the chat if you see where this is going. We both respect the other's choice, and it's not really an issue between us. However, when we were dating and engaged, he didn't come near me in any way. He looked like,
Riley.
Put yourself, Riley, that. I must ensure that I am not touched
touch you
by the female touch.
It's too much.
Hazmat. See, he's adding commentary even when he can't talk. That's how good he is.
It's called physical comedy.
Ooh! Ain't that the truth? Now, for example, we rarely held hands. That's Satan. He never hugged nor kissed me on the cheeks, even though it's a form of greeting that's very used in our culture.
Interesting. So like casual forms of intimacy are very common in their culture. And even then he's like, no.
Sophia, you think just because I'm engaged to a woman, I hug her?
I only hug women I'm not engaged to. That's it. Once I'm in a romantic relationship with them, no hugging, no kissing, no hand holding, 6 feet apart, just like God intended.
And it bothered me a bit. You could say that. But I think he was doing it out of respect. The roller coaster was our wedding night. Now, during the ceremony, we danced for the first time. We held hands. And when we got to our hotel, we hugged. And he kissed me for the first time on my lips.
On your lips? Dang.
Stay away, heathen!
Ye sleut.
Be gone!
Ye sleut! Ye old
You
sleut!
kissed on the lips? Gross.
On your wedding night. Now, it wasn't like making out or anything. It was just a peck.
Literally, I'm imagining like, ha, and then he runs away.
That's it. Nothing else. We didn't do anything more. Not even cuddle. We just showered and went to sleep because we were extremely exhausted.
I'm just imagining he's like, whoa, I'm tired from that. But I'm assuming they're tired from the wedding night, but I am also just imagining him being like, that was a lot. That kiss, wow, really took it out on me. Oh, I'm so sleepy.
Yeah.
Shh. I hope she thinks I'm asleep.
Can I just drop a real quick conspiracy theory?
Is it the one that's been in the chat?
I have not seen the one in the chat, so I'm going to say it with one word and see if that is what chat was saying.
I think you might be right.
Gay?
Gay!
Gay! Gay! Gay!
That's right, Riley.
That's right, Riley 3.0.
So right when I was about to fall asleep, while we were talking, he told me that he won't do anything unless it is to conceive kids.
Dude, this is like freaking, what's it called? House of the Dragon. Like when because she marries her cousin who's gay.
Right.
And then they're like not having spicy sleep.
But at least they have their own, they had an agreement. Like,
They had
we
an
have our own
agreement.
mistresses,
Yeah.
you know, we each got a boo.
We got a bootang.
But this guy's just like,
No.
nothing.
Only copulation for kids.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, Riley. In the good book, it says if you're married, intimacy doesn't have to only be for children bearing. Or is that a thumbs down? It's a thumbs up.
I like sex.
It's a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So
I think if he's not gay and he's just truly so religious that he thinks it's like sinful I think that point it's like what is his religion or like what is like wherever he's going specifically teaching him that spicy sleep is just never okay. Like that's too far. Unless you're a priest, I suppose. Unless you've taken a vow of chastity, thinking that you can never have spicy sleep even when you're married. Someone's been teaching you the wrong stuff.
you got to lock it up. What did Riley say?
Again, unless you've taken a vow of chastity.
Yeah, I mean, like,
unless you're a priest or a nun or some other religious figure that has said, I'm not going to have spicy sleep, which it doesn't seem like he is. I feel like yeah.
So he told me he wouldn't do anything unless it is to conceive kids. I wasn't sure what to say, so I just remained silent and dozed off. This literally crushed my expectations. Of course, I understand that he doesn't want to do anything, but really? Not until we decide to have kids, which is a minimum of 2 years away?
Also, I will actually posit another one. He could just be like asexual. Or yeah, this is like he could be asexual or aromantic. In which case he should have also been informing OP that, of course.
I wonder if he's like, if that is the case, if he even accepts or even understands.
Oh yeah, Casey Roberts says that too.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. I love my husband with all my heart, and I would never leave him, as he is the best and most respectful human being I have ever met and an amazing person overall. But I can't seem to accept this. Ever since I was a teen, I have been addicted to WIBTAH and spicy stories. So, of course, I've always dreamt of my wedding night.
Stop. Oh, my God.
Dude. I didn't really want to keep my expectations really high because I knew that it would most likely not come to reality, but I never thought that this could happen. I was disappointed for the rest of our honeymoon, which lasted a week. I know it's my fault for not talking to him about it. That is incorrect. It is his fault for not informing you, right?
Yeah,
crazy?
absolutely.
But I was really afraid of doing so. You see, in our culture, it's not appropriate for a woman to talk about these things nor initiate intimacy. Plus, Edward is religious, like I said, so I was afraid of him judging me if I did anything that he would consider unholy or whatever.
Well, it sounds like he's the holiest guy around, so he probably would.
Yeah. And if we can't, the whole point of authentically communicating is you put your whole self as you are to the other person. And if there's a misalignment,
yeah,
then there's a misalignment.
I also, if you guys are both religious, there is a chance. I don't know if this is like still a thing, but you know how in like some cultures and also just historically, the only way to authenticate a marriage was to like have spicy sleep on the first night. That was like, or like to have spicy sleep, consummate it. So if you haven't done that, maybe there's a way to annul it. If it's like super religious. You know?
That's a good question. Yeah, what country is this in? Is that part of the...
I don't know if that's like a part of it.
This is a question. Let's find out. I even tried to seduce him for the past couple of months, but he wouldn't look at me. Not in a mean way, but he would just laugh it off and give me a peck or something like that.
He's either gay or asexual.
Oh, boy.
Asexual or, not attracted to you in that way.
Low-key, though. It's really starting to bug me because I have a somewhat high drive and really want to do things with him. I can't help it.
Just reading all those WIBTAH stories, man.
Yeah, right. Close the laptop.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's the reason behind this, and I don't know how to address the subject with him. Once more, I will not even consider leaving him, so please, all advice will be appreciated. There is an update and a lot more to the story.
Ooh, okay.
Well, let's talk.
Well, okay. If you're not considering leaving him at this time, the first step is to go to him and say, hey, like, why don't you want to have spicy sleep with me? What is holding you back? Is it because you think it's religious, something religious? And then, talk about that and tell him like there's nothing in any religion that I know of that says if you're married, you can't sleep together. Second one, is he not attracted to you? Because then that's an issue in the marriage. Because that kind of encompasses, asexuality, being gay. That's like that you can kind of go and then talk about why he's not attracted to you. But those are like the two things that you got to talk about.
Yeah. And like, just to be clear, someone not wanting to be intimate is totally fine.
Yes.
Someone wanting to be intimate is totally fine. The issue is when there is some sort of expectation set. He did say like, oh, I want to wait till marriage.
Yes.
And then on the wedding night, he's like, hey, I want to wait till having kids. That is where problem has arisen. And it's like, I don't know, for me, if someone's like, oh, I don't want my partner to think I'm unholy or anything. I don't know. It's just like you should, at a bare minimum, have a grounds for communicating openly to figure out where the other person.
Absolutely. Though, of course, it is difficult when, like you have cultural expectations that say you can't talk about this. You have to behave a certain way. But yeah, those are my suggestions if you don't want to leave them, though you guys just might not be aligned. And that's not your fault because he didn't communicate with you.
I want to poll. Will they stay together or not? That's too long for a poll. But stay together or not?
Yeah.
And this is asking not if they should stay together, but will they? We're on some predictive type vibes.
Mm-hmm. You're placing bets right now.
We're placing bets. I have a fear she might stay.
Yeah.
I have a fear.
I think so too.
But I'm curious what chat says. Duchess Cassandra says he totally trapped her in a physically spicy-free marriage.
Yeah, and she has different wants and desires, which he's totally allowed to not want to ever have spicy sleep.
100%.
That is his right. Or to have, if he is, attracted to men, totally his right to want to have that. Not okay to kind of bring someone to a marriage under false pretenses.
Bingo. And that's the thing. But we have an update, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. Long story short, for the people who didn't want to read a whole story, it turned out that my husband was embarrassed of himself and thought that it wasn't normal to feel aroused.
Yay, wait, it was the first option.
It was
religion. Sometimes you are growing up in a very religious, kind of community, and they don't teach you about spicy health.
There it is.
And that seems like that was the problem.
I had spicy health education. Abstinence.
Yeah, that was mine.
The good Lord.
The good Lord says, don't do it. The good Lord says, if you do it, you get STDs. And that was the only education I got.
Look at that. All three of us in the room. So, after posting yesterday, I was literally bombarded by hundreds of comments suggesting that Edward might be homo spicy. Love her censoring. I don't know how that happened. And using me to cover for his spicy related preferences. I wasn't ready at all for such a possibility, and it had never crossed my mind, actually. Compared to the other people from our community, we are one of the few who aren't closet guardians. And we previously discussed our spicy preferences before. Okay, so it seems like they're not like super homophobic.
No.
Which
doesn't seem like they're at all.
Great. I don't want to really get into this topic, but Edward was really honest with me at the time that he is straight and that he just can't picture himself being with a man, religious or not. Besides, we both have online jobs, so we are together literally the whole time and have mutual friends, so I would have quickly noticed any suspicious behavior. Today, I decided to confront him like many of you suggested. I had been repeating continuously my script in my head and went for it. We were both chilling after having some lunch, so I asked him if he wanted to talk about spicy sleep and intimacy. He said yes and was curious about what was bothering me. I was direct and simply asked him why he won't do anything with me unless it is for kids. Edward got genuinely surprised and confused by my question. At the moment, I just wanted to disappear from the universe and evaporate. Because of the embarrassment, I am not physically able to recall how the conversation went exactly, but it turned out that he thought that it wasn't normal to feel aroused around me, nor to have spicy sleep unless for procreation. So in Edward's head, it was literally like, I
am wrong for having these feelings.
Right, for not being aroused around you.
No.
Or
he is aroused.
And
he's like, I'm wrong for this. I should not be having these feelings.
Right.
That's what it seems like.
Okay, I think I was misinterpreting it earlier.
That's
that
how
he was asexual, but
no,
it's like
he's like, I'm having these feelings. I shouldn't be having these feelings, so I'm gonna put a lid on it. Yeah.
Repress. Ooh. Okay. Well, here we're getting somewhere.
Duchess Cassandra says, "Hooray for communication!"
Yes.
Huzzah!
Yes, guys. This. Is the thing.
Yeah. I mean, look at all the assumptions that we made, which is, our job. We're supposed to be making assumptions.
Indeed.
But
banter.
Then look at what happens when you have the communication. When you're ever in a relationship with someone, in any sort of relationship, not just romantic, and you have all these assumptions going on in your head of what could be going on, put a little pause on those. Go talk to them first before you act on your assumptions. Never act on assumptions.
You know what they say about when you assume?
Yeah, I do.
It doesn't work. So try talking.
Try talking, man.
That's what they say. So I felt really bad for him. Apparently, that's what he grew up thinking, and that's what his friends and environment he grew up in mistreated him into believing. I cannot imagine that they did this to him. I'm sure it was to make fun of him and mess around, which led to completely messing up his view on spicy related matters and his desires. And there's no way that they also believe in this themselves. Interesting. So it's almost like it was like they almost mocked it into him versus it being like the actual
doctrine,
which is almost like even way more effed up.
Oh no, it's super effed up. They're like, this is going to be funny. That's crazy. But I do know this is how you fix it. You both read WIBTAH together, except not WIBTAH. You read AO3 because WIBTAH is bad.
Oh, it's no good?
WIBTAH sucks. WIBTAH is the gateway drug to fan fiction. AO3 is a glass of wine.
Oh, it's the elevated form.
Yes.
I learned that today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this conversation went on for a couple of hours. I realized that it must have been very hard on him to talk about this specific topic, so we had a rest from the subject and we took a nap. They always go to sleep after.
They're like, okay, that was tough. I'm going to bed.
Hey, shout out for self-care, I
Yeah.
guess. Now, after the nap, he apologized for not talking about this with me beforehand. We discussed many other things, and the fact that he never displayed any affection before our wedding was due to his beliefs. And don't worry, we also talked about our wedding night. He got aroused every time he came near me, so he felt extremely ashamed of showing it or acting on it and thought I was just teasing him. Oh,
Rough.
he also didn't want to do something that could be considered bad according to what they fed his mind with. Not gonna lie, I expressed to him my resentment and the way he never asked for my opinion on this matter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He apologized again and said that he was afraid of what my reaction would be if he expressed himself. We tried to sort things out and we promised to start working on physical touch. Ooh. Edward said that he would never do anything that could make me feel down ever again and that he will always be ready to answer all of my questions. This realization was really like a epiphany across the face for him. So I suggested going to therapy. He immediately agreed tomorrow and we will look for a therapist.
Yay.
Let's go.
That's great. Unlearn all of those terrible things that you were taught.
We need to unplug the wires in the brain now and replug the wires into the good places.
Yeah. Just a little rewiring.
Little rewiring. Now, going on Reddit wasn't really the best idea, but it really gave me a push. Having this conversation was definitely something that we should have done sooner, way back when we were engaged. Also, to everyone telling me to leave, just because the problem was about intimacy doesn't mean I would leave him. Of course, if this took another turn and if I found out that he was cheating on me or lying, I would have immediately divorced him without looking back. I know that intimacy is very important to couples and healthy relationships, but if Edward is not comfortable and has issues with this matter, I have no choice but to understand him. He has always been there for me and always showed me his love and support, just not through physical ways, so the least I could do is understand him and respect his boundaries. Until we talk everything out, I will not pressure him to do anything and would rather do it step by step. In the end, we cried together and laughed about ourselves. Then he made some snacks that we had while watching our favorite TV series. Now Edward is sleeping right next to me, closer than usual.
Whoa. Whoa. Closer than usual. Are you guys like almost touching?
Oh.
Ooh.
Are you maybe holding fingers?
Ooh.
Oh my.
It's too much.
It's too. We need to bring this Cajun spice down to salt.
Yeah.
A little too spicy.
Let's put some flour in here.
Put some flour in there. Some vanilla.
Mmm.
I feel happy about it, even though it's not much, but it's definitely considered improvement.
I think that's a lot.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, like he's
Edward?
not going to change immediately, you know? Still has all of that stuff ingrained in him.
This is true. I also feel much better than yesterday. There are still many things that we need to discuss and so many more steps to take. I think I might update our situation later, but right now I would like to thank all the kind comments and nice people who tried to reach out and cheer me up. So,
Aw.
yeah.
Yay.
Looking pretty good. Riley, where did our poll end up? I'm curious what the people were thinking.
Wow. People hate love.
78% said divorce.
And look how silly you guys look. Look how silly.
It wasn't
you all
even
lost.
our leading theories. It
Yeah.
wasn't even our leading theories.
It wasn't any of it. Well, you know what? I did say it.
I think,
That was one of my options.
think
I
you
said
said
maybe it's just a religious thing and he
think-
like has been misinformed. So it was one of my theories. But this is great. You guys had a conversation, you communicated. I think just know like, you know, it's going to take probably a minute for him to adjust to this. This is not just going to be like, "Oh, I can do this. Now we're going to have spicy sleep all the time." Like he still has those thoughts and feelings of shame ingrained.
That's true.
They don't just disappear.
Yeah.
Even when you realize, like even when you know in your mind, it's hard to overcome religious guilt.
Yeah. You might not go straight to boinking 10,000 times per day.
Yeah.
But could we do something more reasonable? Like 5,000?
Well,
1,000?
maybe even a kiss for longer than a second. We'll start
Wasn't a bad-
slow.
I have to say, it seems like they are well on the path to
Yeah.
resolving said problems.
I agree.
I do have to give it up to them. We do not always see that.
No, we do not.
Especially with the like super religious background. I think they were able to go, it's not outside of that religious confines, but within their beliefs or their religious culture, I think I should say, they were able to kind of come to an understanding and not let that stop actual communication and stuff, which is happens
Agreed.
sometimes.
Good job, OP.
Good job, OP. Seriously, this is pretty good stuff here. But we have a second update.
No, I hope it stays good.
Here we go. Oh, real quick, Bubbles Marie says, lol, the religion I was raised in taught that any kind of spicy sleep was bad unless you're married. There's several articles / chapters dedicated to not spicy touching yourself and how you can, there you go. So that's
the religion I was raised in.
Yep. And that's what makes it hard for people like OP and Edward, in their situation, but they did it.
Yeah. And there's so much culture around not talking about it at all. So it's so hard to like actually communicate it and communicate your feelings because you're like, I can't talk about them.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
Take me away, officer. Let's get into update number 2. So, like I mentioned in my last update, we started looking for a therapist and found some sort of center a couple of days later. Basically, they're like a group of therapists specialized in different types of issues. So once we explained our situation, they assigned us to a couples therapist. She was actually very understanding of our situation, and we've had a few sessions with her, which are very eye-opening.
Nice.
She navigated us through our emotions and basically was more like a consultant than a therapist. That's what we want. As for my husband, he was assigned to another therapist and has sessions with him twice a week. It's not just because of our issue, but they found out that my husband has some deep childhood traumas that he needs to work on.
Well, I could have told you that.
Oh,
That one was pretty.
baby.
That one was pretty obvious.
Yep.
Sorry.
This journey will take him a couple of months, apparently. Could be longer.
Also told you that.
Yeah.
Telling you everything.
And this is something that he definitely needs, so he's totally ready for it.
Dude, I told you all of that for free.
Hey, Nostradamus, can you tone it down a little bit?
Literally could have come to me. Wouldn't even need to pay for a therapist.
Sophia, why don't you just be wrong once?
Can't.
Can you just be wrong
I
a single
can't do
time?
it. I can't do it. Not today.
Stop predicting with 100% accuracy right now. Anyways, as for our intimate life, our therapist advised us to show each other more affection before taking things slowly and watching educational videos as references. Educational.
Dude, and maybe reading educational books.
Literature. So for a week, we tried showering each other with random hugs, kisses, cuddles, and this was really addicting. For Edward, it was really something new, but now he won't stop with the back hugs. And it's very comforting. This is actually so adorable. Then I started teasing him to take things to another level, like the therapist said. Edward is still trying to build up the courage to do so. After a while, we made out for the first time.
Ooh, but you napped right after.
Right? Also, why is this starting to feel like the Wattpad stories?
Yeah, it is. This is.
Oh, God. It felt super great. And from there, we started getting touchy. We did this for like 2 weeks and got freakier each day.
Okay.
7 days a week.
Simmer down. Simmer down.
Oh, certified freak 7 days a week. The videos were really helpful. We also took our first shower together and played around.
Okay, OB, it's getting too hot.
Riley, please search up what you purchased on Amazon recently.
What?
To reference later. Pull it up. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like slapping the table. All these little achievements really made me so happy. And for the big thing, we finally made love 2 days ago.
Congratulations. That's really exciting. Thank you for telling us. Appreciate it.
Woo! I feel like at this point you need to get like a little cake or something.
Yeah, like we just had spicy sleep.
Woo!
She's like calling, she's calling everyone she knows. Well, maybe her friends, not her parents. She's like, guys, you won't believe what just happened.
Guess what?
Me and my husband just slept together.
Uh-oh. It was very great, and we took it slowly, but we both really enjoyed it. It felt like a different level of closeness, and I'm very proud of my husband for finally taking this step without feeling bad or guilty about it. Yay! Laura Hot says, oh, I need details. Laura, chill.
Whoa, go on AO3.
Yeah, this is
This
okay
is
story time.
okay story time. This is an AO3.
Not okay spicy time.
This is what you got to do, Laura. You're not on me, Riley. giving advice, Laura. You gotta go to the AO3 and you're gonna search up whoever you want, and then you're gonna change it to explicit.
Oh no!
And there you go.
Devious
Be free.
instructions over here.
Oh, it's okay.
The double-headed shower. That's what Riley got for his new roommate, Alex, the man.
Yeah.
He identifies as male. I said it. Okay.
I said it.
Sorry if I crossed the line. That's what I do. Anywho, so not only that, but we also went on some dates as a change of routine and tried new restaurants, which I really love. Edward surprised me with my dream restaurant and we had a blast.
Yay.
By the way, you can listen to full, sweet and cute and wholesome stories just like this. If you go to Spotify, Apple, or iHeart, just search OK Storytime and you have 2,500 episodes to binge. And by the way, if you binge them, you can tell me and I will congratulate you, or I will grill you, because we have 2,500 episodes and that's a lot of content to listen to. So I'm very skeptical.
We should do a quiz. We should make a quiz.
We should make a quiz.
Only the best of the best can win.
And you get a little award. You know?
Yeah.
Think of
We'll think of
name.
an award.
I couldn't think of a good one off the top of my head. But we are almost at the end of the story here, but I would be remiss if I didn't pass the proverbial mic over to my good co-host, Sophia. How are we feeling at this point in time?
I'm feeling great. This is very like first love, like very, juvenile excitement over like all of this newness.
Yeah.
And that is really lovely to watch because they talked about it and they figured it out and they're doing the work to with like a therapist and stuff to overcome these feelings of guilt and shame that are so a part of their life and culture and stuff, or like growing up.
Yeah.
And that's great. I love that. It seems like you guys have a very strong foundation of love that you're clearly building upon.
Yeah.
And great job.
Absolutely. Like this is flawless execution.
Yeah.
Well, boys and girls, let's see the finale
Let's see it.
of this super sweet story. Opie says, our communication is 10 times better than before, and it really feels like the wall that was standing between us is completely gone.
Yay.
That is fantastic. Yeah, it seems like you tackled like the scariest thing.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, everything's easy. And
everything's easy.
Beautiful.
You overcame that little bump in the road.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
There are still many things that we haven't tried, so we're really excited. I also told him about my smut obsession yesterday, and he asked me to give him a list of fanfics.
Stop! I said that! I can't stop being right! I literally said that!
Stop it.
I'm too good at
Stop
this. Dude, he's about to be reading like Dramini fanfics. Stop.
Sophia.
Manacled. And I only know that. I haven't read it. I only know that because my friend loves Dramini fanfics.
Sophia's friend has a suggestion for you.
I swear. I hate Dramini. I'm anti-Dramini. It's not me.
So I gave him a list of fanfics that I really like, so that way he could make them happen in real life. That was really so awesome. I still can't get over this. Haha.
OP's like more excited about getting her husband to read fanfics than she is about anything else.
Yup.
And I love that.
Yup. And lastly, since our honeymoon wasn't really a honeymoon, we were thinking of going on one this Christmas maybe, so I can't wait. By the way, to all the comments that suggested using toys, we talked about it, but the therapist said that this could be too early and that Edward might get addicted if we use them during our firsts. So I guess we will wait.
Sick.
I have literally one and only one suggestion to their perfect execution. This isn't even really this is bonus points. Like they've already got a 10 out of 10 perfect scorecard, but maybe if they got a spicy sleep therapist specifically.
Yeah.
Because it from the context clues, it seemed like this was not a spicy sleep specialized therapist.
Yeah.
Then they could maybe have someone who could has just a little more expertise.
I agree.
And that, but again, this is bonus points. Like we've really kind of knocked it out of the park on this one, I feel like.
You guys are doing it, man.
This might be, from just the stories I can recall in my brain right at this red hot second, one of the, if not the best example of communication actually fully happening.
I agree. You have a very serious problem that everyone was like, there's no way you're going to fix this. And then we had a conversation and we went to therapy and we fixed it.
Wow.
Would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
Would you look at that? But that is the end of that story.
It's over.
Shock.
It's over.
Horror.
But this
But-
episode's not over.
Oh no.
I freaking got you, maybe.
Oh no.
Because Sophia's-
we maybe got you.
Got another story coming.
I sure do.
Right up.
My husband refuses to help with our baby at night. Wake him up! Wake him up! My husband, we will call Brad, and I have been together for 2.5 years. We had our son in January. Things have been pretty great, but this had me feeling kind of annoyed. Brad is diagnosed with autism and ADHD, which can make communication between us challenging at times, but we do our best. We live in Europe, not the US. By the way, this comes from Throwaway, Boundary or Not, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, since Brad has autism and ADHD, he only works at 50%. The other half is covered by health insurance here on a temporary basis, and every few months he has to keep applying for more. It's stressful as we wait for him to hopefully get on a permanent coverage. Since this is so up in the air, instead of me taking a full year of maternity leave, he took a majority of the days in case his temporary health insurance is denied for some reason. Then he can keep his work schedule at 50% and still get paid on the days he is off, which means I went back to work part-time. I work from home as a private teacher. I choose my hours since my students usually live in different countries. I chose some in the afternoon when Brad is home with our son, and at nights when my students would be awake and Brad is also home. I only have one student in the evening, 11 to 11:30. Dang, that's late. Twice a week. OP said she teaches ESL to students in Asia, so that's why the time is the way it is. This is to help with some income, and we discussed this before I even went back to work. He had asked no students past midnight. So if baby is having issues sleeping, he can take care of him and hopefully get him to sleep. Well, Brad got back on a schedule where he wants to go to bed at 11 every night. We try to, but with the baby sometimes it just does not happen. Baby sometimes will stay asleep when I put him to bed. I nurse him to sleep. And sometimes he wakes up screaming. Well, last night I told Brad I had my student at 11 and I would try to have baby sleeping by then. He asked me, "What is your plan if baby wakes up?" My bedtime is 11, so hopefully you have thought of something. I've thought of you, the baby's dad.
Wow.
You can't just stay asleep when you have a newborn baby. I said, well, hopefully he stays asleep. If not, you'll just have to take care of him or put him on his playmat and entertain him. He resolutely said, bedtime's 11 o'clock and I'll go to bed. Come 11 o'clock, baby is in bed and Brad is just getting out of the shower. I guess he woke up moments after I started with my student, as when I came out of the office, he was walking around with baby. I took him, nursed him back to sleep, and went to bed also shortly after 11:30. This morning, he was a bit annoyed with me. When I tried to hug him goodbye as he was leaving to work, he did not hug me back. We always do this before he leaves, so I said, "Are you still upset with me?" He replied, "Yes, you crossed my boundary. My bedtime is 11. We discussed this. I go to bed, and anything past that is your problem to solve if baby wakes up." He left for work, and I was just thinking, what? That's not a boundary.
It's absolutely not a boundary.
You can't have a boundary for when you go to bed with a baby.
Yeah.
That's
Boundaries are like, hey, when you talk to me this way, that hurts my feelings.
my feelings. Don't talk to me like that.
It's not a boundary of being like, hey, this is my shift. I'm deciding this. I'm not going to talk to you about this. You have to freaking figure it out.
Yeah.
You get the night shift always.
I feel I need to have some discussion with Brad about this. But would I be the a-hole if I told him he has no more boundaries with his sleep and he's being ridiculous? And some of OP's comments, a commenter says, "Everyone sucks for not sorting this out before there was a baby." OP says, "We did. No students past midnight and only when he's home. It was only recently he decided he wanted to go to bed at 11. And he knew my potential work schedule weeks before I even went back to work. Previously, bedtime for us was between 11:30 to midnight. He also does get his 8+ hours of sleep almost every night." Commenter says, "Not the a-hole. Your husband is being ridiculous. He is a father. He should act like it. Babies wake up in the night. It's not fair to expect you to take care of it all by yourself while he peacefully sleeps every night. He's a parent. He needs to parent his child." OP responds, what my mother said. If it means he has to walk around with baby to calm him, he just has to. My schedule is not a surprise either. It was something we discussed weeks before I even went back. Commenter says, not to mention the fact that you're having to return to work early after pregnancy because of financial issues caused by him only working part-time. OP says, well, the thing is, in our country, in Europe, he is technically employed full-time, but due to his disabilities, he only works 50%, and the other 50% is covered by health insurance here. Yes, his work knows all of it is legal. I am not from Europe originally, so I might be explaining this badly. But if he loses the income from the health insurance, he only gets paid 50% from work. OP said in another comment they lived in Sweden. But before we get into more of them, do you have any thoughts?
I just would be so mad.
Yeah.
She just gave birth to this baby.
Yep.
Okay? It's not even, like, it's one thing that, yes, they're both parents, and they both need to parent this child. That's a whole thing in itself. But also, one of these parents, though, has to rest and recover from all of the changes that have been happening to her body for the past 9 months.
Yeah.
So it's like, girl, like, you gotta step up for your wife. You gotta.
And also, people are in the comments, in the chat, are making a great point. He gets a full 8 hours with a newborn baby.
Yeah.
I've never had a kid, but I know that literally every parent ever has, who I've talked to this about, has said that you don't get any sleep when you have a baby.
Right. That's what they all say.
This shit, that's like common knowledge. No sleep. Top voted commenter, OP says, thing is, he's a great dad. Just this incident is ruffling my feathers a bit because he normally is not like this. And he almost always gets his 8+ hours of uninterrupted sleep. If baby was waking him up, I could see it, but that is not the case. Commenter says, is he a great dad if he uses emotional blackmail against the mother of his child? Is he a great dad if he refuses to care for the child he helped create? I don't think so. I think maybe getting yourself to a counselor solo for perspectives from a professional may be useful too. OP says, I think you're right on me needing to see a professional on dealing with some of this. Of course, he did not let baby cry. He did take care of him, but he was annoyed with me that he even had to be awake to walk around with baby. I love my son and I need to know if I cannot be there, someone who loves him is there with him. My family is far away, so I only have my husband. Commenter says, not the a-hole. If you decide to have a child, you have to take all the 1-2s that are involved, and a perfect sleep schedule is something you lose. And why is this always men? I mean, I know why, but yet why? He's a father. Baby and the baby's needs come first. OP says, after I had baby, we were in hospital for 5 days. Baby soiled the few clothes he had, and Brad left to go home for the night. Hospital room not large enough for him to stay. And as he was getting home to bed, I called, told him baby had nothing clean anymore, and he drove at 3 a.m. to bring him clean clothes. So this is an issue, but the one in the hospital was not. Commenter, did he want the baby to? Did he understand what having a child means to his boundaries and lifestyle? OP says, yep. Before we had baby, my parents had a long talk about it with him. He said he did, and he would make the logical decision. We've talked about it. How sleep, routine, free time, work, etc. goes out the window. We try our best, and even then, how babies are day-to-day changes. I never know how baby will be any given day, so you just do what you can. I thought he understood, but then he reacted like this, and I was just... Commenter says, not the a-hole. Being autistic and having ADHD are not licensed to be a wiener. He is a father now, and the baby's needs come first. Moreover, the reason that you can't help is because you have already bent over backwards and made every single accommodation possible for him. He should be grateful. Instead, he's weaponizing therapy language to make you seem like the bad guy. You are not. OP says, comment limit prevented a lot of extra, but I keep the house clean, look after our cat, have baby when he works. When he works from home, I keep baby happy and content as I can. So he can work, let him have his weekly game session with his best friend. We hang out with our friends. I often have baby so they can play games. I am just happy to socialize, not a huge board game person. I make sure we have our alone time when baby is happy playing in his play area, feed him, and keep him quiet at night so Brad can sleep, and so on. What does he do? He cooks. Does all of that. Lunch, dinner. He will help me with the cleaning, the cat at times. Takes baby so I can nap if I'm tired. Since baby is only breastfeeding, I am with him all night. Thankfully, he sleeps most of the night now, but I'm still up at like 6:30 to 7 a.m. with him. Commenter says, husband should not have had a child. What will he do if something happens to you? Opie says, well, my parents would have to fly over from where they live and likely take custody of our son.
Oh, wow.
Husband's parents are too old and in poor health. Mine are not. I'm what?
Maybe she was thinking like if something happens to the husband too?
Unless she misread that. I'm sorry. What will happen if something happens to you? Your husband can't take care of your kid?
And it has to go to one of the parents? I really am hoping that she just
crazy.
misread that because she mentioned his parents too.
OP says, if I passed away or was hospitalized, I know he would try his best with baby, but in the long term, it would be a disaster. He would probably move near his sisters and parents with baby, or my parents would step up a lot.
Okay, so she didn't misread it. She's just
Wow.
with a
Why would you have
a-hole.
a baby with someone who you didn't think was capable of taking care of a baby?
That's crazy.
That's
Oh man.
crazy. She literally has
man.
no...
They couldn't
faith
have
in
planned
him.
this. They couldn't have planned this, or maybe she just picked the wrong partner.
Yeah, and realized later that he wasn't capable of taking care of a child. There is an update 6 hours later. So he came home and we had a long, long talk about how his words can be easily misunderstood, especially if he does not clarify to me or I ask him to. How a baby equals no boundary with sleep. We do our best, all we can do. We need to spend more time as a family together. I explained how to a neurotypical person his words and actions hurt, even if that is not his intent. That baby is the priority always, even over our mental health. We only have each other, and even though I can sympathize with the mental health, you just have to push past it. I am doing all I can, and if you need help, ask for it. He's willing to get extra support at the neuropsych where we live beyond what he has. He is medicated and getting all the help he can, and will seek ways to cope. I make it clear that in no way was his reaction okay, and it cannot happen again for the baby's sake. He seemed to understand. As some of you suggested, him getting extra support for his ADHD, he will. I will ask also for some counseling on how to communicate better with him. Around the house, he will spend less time alone, more with us. Free time happens after or when baby sleeps, not before. Games can be played in the living room where we are together. Also, my mother offered to be on call if she has the time, so if husband is alone with baby, she can video chat with baby, which he likes. I talk with her on a video almost every day, and sometimes it can snap baby into a better mood when he sees Grammy. And yes, we live in Sweden, so we get 480 days between us. Wow. And we can share and trade, so I can get some days back if it comes to it. I was never forced to give my days. It was my choice due to what was happening at the time. He only works 50% because that is what he feels he can do without burning himself out. He has other health issues, diabetic, EDS, that make him more exhausted. His job pays pretty well, but on just half his wage is not enough. If he can get permanent health insurance, it could take a few years. We hope. I am with him because when I met him, he was under less pressure. He is fully capable, had a job, cleaned his apartment, has a social life. I think the stress of having the health insurance and our son sometimes just being a baby got to him. Prior to this, he had been a good husband, father, considerate. I am not stupid. I was in a harmful relationship prior. My parents love him, just not his behavior at times like now. He messed up with his words. He has acknowledged that. And you should acknowledge that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left to this story.
Yeah. I wonder how severe his autism is. Because, I mean, she said he was fully capable. Honestly, I forgot that he was autistic.
Yeah.
So that does make sense that maybe he doesn't realize how his words are affecting other people.
Oh, absolutely. Like, probably doesn't You know, like, she said that she wanted to work on how they can communicate better and stuff.
Yeah. I think that was great.
But I would be a lot more worried about the fact that you don't think that your partner can take care of your guys' child on his own.
And yeah, maybe it is just a stress thing. Like, I wonder if she's thinking maybe before all of this stress stuff was happening, he would be able to.
Yeah.
But then now that she's seeing how he's acting, like, she's like, nah, it would be bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like there's a chance, but that does definitely still worry me as well.
Very worrisome.
Yeah.
Very worrisome. But there is a little bit left to the story. Some of you thought it might be a deeper issue, but no. I asked, and he just said he was upset because to him I was working at a time he did not agree to. But I had to remind him wanting to go to bed at 11 was recent, as in back in May when I started to go back to work. He's just stressed from work, baby, and day-to-day things. He apologized for how he rejected my hug by standing there. He was annoyed, which is why he didn't reciprocate, and how he worded things last night and this morning. I promised no students past 11:30. He said, of course, he would never let our son just cry if he was going to bed. I had a student and baby was awake. Will it stick? I don't know. We just take one day at a time. Next step is couples counseling as opposed to individual and involving my parents whom he respects. And some of OP's comments. Commenter says, good luck, OP. This is a nice update, and it sounds like you have the resources and communication skills to work through this stressful time. Keep it up, and things will get easier. OP says, I hope so. My parents help as best as they can, 6,000 kilometers away. We have resources here, too, for all of us. Commenter says, diabetes does not cause fatigue unless he is not taking care of himself. Do not let him use that as an excuse. This is coming from a diabetic. OP says, we're trying to manage it now. Has been hard. Have a dietitian, going swimming 1 time a week. All 3 of us. Commenter says, thank you for giving your husband grace. I also have ADHD, and the sleepless nights were awful for me. I was UND-X at the time and really struggled with lack of sleep. I still do. And my husband did the bulk of the night shifts, and I will be eternally grateful for that. I think being bluntly honest with him is good. If he's exhausted, and which new parent isn't, and burned out, then it's going to be harder for him to regulate himself. I'm not excusing his actions at all, but I just wanted to show my appreciation for you, that you are handling his disabilities. I wish you all the best. OP says, he has his own office space. Baby's routine usually means he falls asleep at 8. After 8, free time. Commenter says, do not frame it like this. Remember, the whole post started because of a rigid time mindset. Free time after 8 means he gets to do what he wants, including sleeping. The schedule is baby time until 8, on-call time from 8 to 11:30 p.m. On-call means he can do other things, but must stop those things if baby wakes up. Then 11:30 is sleep time. OP says, yeah, that sounds pretty good. I think that's actually a very good comment.
Yeah.
Because you're finding ways to communicate with him better.
Right.
So if you have that kind of more straightforward language of not saying like, oh, free time, whatever you want. It's like, no,
Yeah.
baby still exists. So you're going to have to help out. And
Right.
you can go to sleep at 11:30, sure.
Yeah. Because it is kind of funny. Like, we were joking about calling it shifts earlier,
Yeah.
but like, it's funny to refer to it like that. But at the same time, it's honestly a good way to describe it as just
Absolutely.
being on call.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was good. All the best luck to these people.
My husband hates our open marriage now that I'm enjoying it.
Uh-oh. Became a little too fun.
I, 35 female, am in an open relationship with my husband, 36 male. It was over the summer he mentioned it to me. I wouldn't say I was totally for it, but it took some getting used to. Now everything is going great, but recently my husband keeps changing the rules. By the way, this comes from Princess Protect, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, once I started dating Evan, 45 male, that's when he started acting differently.
Uh-oh.
My husband and I agreed on a don't ask, don't tell policy. Little military thing here. But keeps pestering me about the details of our relationship. I give him a little here and there, but never the explicit stuff. Everything positive I mention about Evan, he downplays or critiques. Last week, I planned a date with Evan and asked him to watch the kids. He agreed. He was to get back home by 9, but texted me to say he's doing overtime that night. I was left scrambling for a sitter at the last minute. This isn't the first time he has done this. Luckily, this time I got a hold of a sitter, but I could not stay as long as I was hoping for. Afterward, he acted as if everything was okay. He began policing me when I left the house and began picking my outfits apart, expressing concern about how the neighbors would perceive me. To avoid conflict, I started wearing jackets to cover up before heading out. Then came the issue of Evan dropping me off. He worried about the neighbors seeing a strange car pull up at night. This forced me to do lunch dates. It wasn't a bother. I would bring my laptop to Evan's and work at his place. However, I preferred the dinner dates because I got a chance to dress up more. Changing up the time seemed to alleviate some tension, but I still feel like I was compromising too much. He didn't even want me to drive to the dates, but when Evan pays for an Uber or drops me off, it's an issue? It makes no sense. The breaking point was when Evan sent flowers to the house. My husband lost it, claiming it's dangerous for a strange man to know our address when we have kids inside. I will say he was right about this. I did drop the ball, however. He insisted that I shouldn't bring home any gifts at all going forward, arguing it violated our don't ask, don't tell rule. Well, maybe he shouldn't ask about where the flowers came from.
There you go.
There you go.
Don't ask, I won't tell.
He used to joke about me not getting chivalry in my open relationship, and now that I'm getting dates, it's a big deal? I asked him if he doesn't take the women he sleeps with on dates, and he says no, it's strictly spicy sleep and none of that lovey-dovey BS that I'm doing. I confronted my husband about these rules and he just brushed it off like it was nothing, saying it's just a respect thing. I was really enjoying this, but he's sucking the fun out of it and it just feels highly stressful. And there are some comments, but what do you think?
If this is one of the boundaries that are just kind of like set in an open relationship of like, you know, no feelings involved, as long as like mostly just physical, then like I could understand that. But at the same time, it kind of feels like it's like, I don't know, he's getting too mad if they didn't set those boundaries already.
Personally, I think that you guys are not cut out for open relationships. I think he's getting jealous. I think that you want to do all these dates, which is totally fair because you guys had made certain rules. But now he's getting jealous. And if you want to keep this relationship, then you need to come together and say, oh, maybe this isn't working.
Yeah.
We're not able to do this without jealousy and feelings getting in the way.
Yeah.
And maybe you could have that conversation and come to a new agreement about the rules.
Yeah.
And what they should be.
Exactly.
Or maybe it's just like, okay, let's close it. Because it's not working.
Yeah, I think before conversation, like he shouldn't get mad yet.
No.
Because it's still within the rules that they already set.
Yeah. And if you need to change the rules, you need to change the rules.
Yeah,
like, it kind of
exactly.
sucks. And it seems like he is changing them or, you know, moving the goalpost here. But if you want to keep your marriage, you guys have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that's just the way it is. Comments. My wheat chicken says, your husband wanted to have a wife and to still sleep with whoever he liked. He didn't want that for you. Come on now, surely you realize that. To me, it seems like husband wanted NSA, spicy sleep with people other than his wife without any of the emotions that come with either an additional girlfriend or hurting his wife. However, wife found someone who also respects and appreciates her and isn't using her like a whole, like how husband is doing his part of the open relationship.
It's an aggressive way to put that.
So I think this is extra incensing for him. He's emotionally removing himself just to get extra kitty. She found someone who will put up with the weird rules and treat her well. It's not just the spicy sleep, it's that she's getting treated well. My witchkin says, yeah, not everyone can enjoy spicy sleep with random one-night strangers. Clearly, that's not her bag, and he should have known that. Or maybe he did, and that's why he thought it would all fall into place nicely for him. Maybe he thought he could have it all while she was at home not sleeping with anyone else. Dapper Danimal says, not the a-hole. Question, does your husband actually hook up with other women? Reading between the lines, I wouldn't be surprised if things weren't working out for him. If this is going to work, you can't just agree, don't ask, don't tell, and call it a day. Rules have to be in place. If you only want spicy related relationships outside of the marriage without emotional intimacy, that's a fine rule if you agree to it. It's also fine to change the rules after they've been established, but that should be based on a conversation where everyone is on the same page. I agree with that.
Yeah,
like you guys might realize that you actually are not okay with something, or you are okay with something. And you don't know until you've done it.
Exactly.
So, but you need to communicate. He shouldn't be able to change or establish the rules on his own and get mad that you haven't been following them. OP says, I think he does. He dresses up on the weekend to go out and comes in late. We both agreed to emotional intimacy, ONS, casual. It's just the nitpicking that's too much. I don't mind having a discussion, but when I'm met with, it's not that serious, that's when I get pissed. Corpuscular Ocelot says, you need to see this for what it is. He opened the marriage without understanding that it meant you would be going on dates too. He never wanted the rules to be fair, so starting from the premise is only going to get him subverting any discussions. He just thought about all the fun he would be having. Now he's treating you like crap because he can't stand that what is good for the gander is good for the goose. You need to bottom line it for him. Open marriages are not easy to maintain. Most couples can't handle it. The only way to handle it is to set clear rules and follow them. One thing I will say is that your partner needs to be your primary. So if both of you are putting all your efforts into getting laid outside of the relationship, you'll trash the marriage. You need regular date nights and check-ins, etc. It also takes a lot of trust and respect for your partner. In other words, you need to put in work into your marriage to make it work, open or closed. There's plenty of literature out there on how to make this work if you really want it to. But it is work. Opening a marriage isn't a quick release valve to save a marriage for people who aren't good and communicating and take their spouse for granted. And there is an update. You have any other thoughts?
I think those comments said it very well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's just like communication is important. It is hard. And obviously this is, we're running into one of the reasons why it's so hard. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a second. Maybe I have different feelings than I thought I did about this whole situation.
Absolutely. And she went into it being like, I don't know. And it seems like he kind of pushed her to.
Yeah.
And then she realized, oh, yeah, this is actually, I like this.
Yeah.
But I feared that might be because she likes who she's like going on dates with rather than the actual experience of being in an open relationship.
I was wondering that. I was like wondering if her husband takes her out on dates and does those nice things.
Yeah, because he said like, oh, none of that romantic BS. So I'm like, does
Yeah.
he not do that for you either?
Right. Like that's probably why she likes,
Yeah.
like you said, like it's probably why she likes that so much.
Yeah. You guys were right. This was a crap show.
No, no.
Oh, no. I'm not sure where to start, but we are getting a divorce.
Oof.
Yoicks.
Wow.
That's not good. He, in fact, did not change and became way more possessive and controlling while changing the rules. Everything I did was either wrong or inconsiderate. Evan had planned a weekend trip to Cabo to celebrate a new business venture. I asked my husband if he was okay with it weeks in advance. He enthusiastically agreed, mentioning, I deserved the trip. He even told me to make sure I flood his phone with pics. I told him I was going to stay with Evan the night before for easier commute. He insisted on taking me to the airport instead, since it was our last night until Tuesday. However, when it was time to leave, he overslept. Despite urging him to get up to the point that I pulled the covers off and turned off the air, he spent an hour in the bathroom. Then, to make matters worse, he didn't fill the tank. I told him the evening before.
Oh my
I
gosh.
called an Uber, which was another hour late. Jeez.
Oh my
How is
gosh.
your Uber an hour late?
How are you not missing your flight?
Where do you live?
Yeah.
But luckily, I got to enjoy my trip. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it seems like you
Ooh.
really, planned ahead. I let it slide and moved on. Boy, oh boy, I wish I never went on that trip because things got worse. It's like I was being punished for the trip. He became incredibly invasive in my personal relationships. He wanted to know what my spicy sleep life with Evan was like, if he was better, etc. He used to play it off like it wasn't a big deal to him. Then I caught him snooping through my phone. It was too much. I didn't understand because Evan was no longer the only man I was seeing. But Evan triggered him the most. By the way, you can see us and only us if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
Yes, it
Do
is.
any final thoughts?
I'm definitely not surprised.
No.
Yeah, I did get the feeling from the start when he was moving the goalpost already.
Yeah.
It's like this feels so like not even like he's just offended and he's just jealous. Like it feels controlling. It feels like
Absolutely.
there's probably, a double standard to all this. And
100%.
there it is.
And
There
there's
is.
that double standard.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it also just felt like OP was realizing that she had better relationships with these people that she was going on dates with, specifically Evan.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, this guy actually cares about me and like wants to romance me. And my
Right.
husband just wants to hook up with other women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
hopefully things work out with Evan.
I hope so. Seems like he wants to be with you. If that wasn't enough, he had his friends over for boys' night. I was getting ready for girls' night. Before I left, he said out loud, "You're really gonna leave me to go F him?" in front of his friends. What about that don't ask, don't tell policy? I'm just gonna tell all of your friends?
Yeah, and why are you so concerned about what the neighbors think with all
Yeah.
the cars driving out and what
Yeah.
you're wearing?
The embarrassment and humiliation I felt even typing this. I just sat in my car and cried so much, and that's when I knew it was done. He apologized, mentioned he was wasted. I don't buy it one bit. He has never acted like this. This open relationship has left me drained mentally and emotionally, and it wasn't even my idea to begin with. I have filed for divorce, but he keeps begging for reconciliation, but I can't. Before anyone comments, I know you told me so. A can this it a both 8524 says he didn't want an open marriage. He wanted your permission to sleep with others while you were not allowed the same. Not the a-hole then or now. Enjoy yourself. Christine MFM 84 says this, not the a-hole. OP, if he ever says anything in front of people again, call him out and say he was the one who wanted the open relationship. Your husband wanted to sleep around and didn't realize you'd be having fun too. A can this it a both says, I also wonder if it's not working out for him as much as he hoped it would. Christine MFM says, yeah, he probably slept with whoever he wanted to sleep with, and it wasn't as great as he thought, and he isn't getting as many girls as he thought he would. Boo Boo says, isn't that how these stories usually go? Husband demands open marriage so he can screw around, discovers that he's not that attractive, and women aren't lining up to be with them while their wives are picking up guys right and left. Then demands their wives stop meeting others, and the wives, meanwhile, have found there are much better men out there than the a-holes they married and file for divorce. But that is the end of that story.
My husband's ex-affair partner just got hired at my office.
HR is about to be your best friend.
My husband, 28 male, and I, 26 female, have been married for 2 years together for 8 years. 7 years ago, he cheated on me with a repulsive woman, 30 female, who knew about me but still pursued him relentlessly because the challenge was fun. Rita Repulsa. I found out by chance when he accidentally sent me a text that was meant for her. I cut contact and tried to move on, but he was persistent, and eventually we got back together. By the way, this comes from user Trisrio, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. There was a drastic change in our relationship after that. Yeah, I think maybe for the best. If you're going to get back together, things have to change.
Something's got to change.
He seemed to lose all interest in other women in general. He said that the time without me had been an eye-opener and that he never wanted to feel like that again and wanted to better himself in every way possible. It took a long time for me to even remotely trust him again, but it happened with time. I thought I was over what had happened. My mom, everyone's best therapist, right, kind of pounded it into me that I had two options, either break up and move on or get back together and work past it. Accurate.
Those
Very.
are the two options, yeah.
Yeah. What she was saying was that if I made the decision to be with him, we had to work past it. I couldn't be with him and use this as some sort of tool or weapon to whip out whenever I wanted to over the years. And she was right. That wouldn't have worked. So we worked it out together. He never tried to excuse his actions, which I appreciated, and we both made changes, and then we kind of grew up. We started from square one and built up from there. We bought a couple houses, we got married, and life was good. I didn't think about it much at all, and when I did, it was kind of a look how far we've come sort of way. Like I said, I thought I was over it this whole time. Apparently, though, I'm not. When I walked into my office last week, the first thing I see in the waiting room is the other girl's nasty face.
Rita Repulsa.
Rita Repulsa.
Yeah, there we go.
She had been hired with my company, and it was her first day. She has a very unique, pig-like face that is impossible to forget. Oh, Lord.
Oh, all right, OP.
I didn't acknowledge her and went to my office, but I couldn't concentrate. I don't want to be anywhere near this awful person. We work in the same department, but on different teams, so we will have pretty close contact on a day-to-day basis, although not constant either. She's been in training so far, so we haven't really talked at all. I've gotten multiple accidental friend requests from her on Facebook when she's creeping on my page, so I know that she recognizes me.
Accidental?
Yeah, what I was about to say.
Accidental?
Accidental was in air quotes, like what? I don't.
I mean, one time is, but multiple times you get a friend What?
When my manager walked her around the office, introducing her to people, I just kind of did the smile and nod in her direction. She smiled and winked. Nice. I'm not sure what to do. I feel sick just being near her. I see her face and I can't stop picturing it against my husband's. I've been mad at my husband on and off ever since she started at my office. I'm reliving the whole thing and I'm pissed that he did this to us and that I'm in this situation now because of him. Well, we'll get into that later. He hugs or kisses me and I pull away and I feel crazy that the reason for this is something that happened 7 years ago. I did talk to him about it, but I'm not sure what I expect from him. He's extremely sympathetic and apologizes profusely that I have to be near her. He keeps pointing out how much we've grown and how amazing our life has been and reminds me that he is a different person now. I walked into our room a couple of nights ago and he was sitting on the bed crying because of what he'd done to us. I don't know what to do. I'm on a roller coaster in Crazy Town right now. I go from sick feeling to angry to sad to guilty for making him sad to angry again to crazy for being mad over something that I thought was so far behind me. He's encouraged me to do what feels best, whether that be to continue working there or to quit. He's been supportive of either decision and pointed out that he could support us easily if I quit working altogether. I don't want to leave my job. I worked extremely hard to build my way up to my position. I earned it. I make good money and have amazing benefits, but I feel sick just thinking about being near her every day. Am I crazy here? What would you guys do if you were in my shoes? Am I seriously losing it to be upset about something that's 7 years in the past? Input, please. And we have an update, but before we get into that, input, please.
Okay, so there's a lot of layers here.
Wait, yeah, take off that layer, your Avengers disguise.
OP, 7 years, and you were acting like everything was okay. I feel like you guys didn't do therapy. I especially you. It seems like your husband is supportive and he is a changed man and good on you and your relationship. You guys worked through that. But now you need to work through this because you knew what was gonna happen if you chose staying with your husband. And this is the outcome. You know, this is the ghost of his past.
And yeah, it sucks to realize you guys didn't really work through that at all, I guess. It's going to be a hard situation to be confronted with her existence regardless, but
Yeah.
like the amount of vitriol and just like disgust that you have towards this woman is like you have not worked through it.
Yeah, I think, one, you need therapy 100%, but you definitely need to talk to a superior or something like that where you are uncomfortable. This is technically your workplace.
Yeah.
She's the newbie.
Yes.
And you don't want to get people fired just off the bat, but if she's already making you uncomfortable, you need to talk to someone that's your superior or HR, like I said.
And it's not even to get her fired. Like, it's just to be like, hey,
Yeah.
here's the situation. So if things start going off the rails, we know why. Exactly. And then you and your husband should go to therapy and really dig into how to get through this in a real way.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this update.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to clear up is that my husband never slept with what's her face? Okay.
Okay. Oh, is he just emotionally cheating? Maybe.
Let's
find out.
dig in. I realize how that was implied when I said he cheated, but that didn't happen. They hooked up without actual. And yes, I know that beyond any possible doubt, so no reason to speculate there. Anyway, on to the update. She got fired. Turns out Miss Crazy Pants used me as a reference to get the job. Oh my God.
Wow, she did it to herself.
I love
Phenomenal.
it. When the trash takes itself out, it's wonderful. I decided not to say anything about her to my boss because I figured, hey, what the F? You know, like a user so skillfully pointed out, she's in the past. She is nothing. She doesn't matter. So I decided to leave it alone and let her fail on her own. And that didn't take long. My boss was in my office talking about Crazy Pants' performance when she said, I'll be completely honest, OP, she's not exactly how you described her. I had no clue what boss was talking about, so I asked her to elaborate, and she said, well, when I asked you about her before we hired her, you described a much different performance level than what I've seen so far. Does she usually take a while to adjust and get into the flow of things? By this time, I was completely lost. I know for a fact I've never mentioned Crazy Pants to my boss, and I've definitely never talked about her work ethic or performance to anyone at all, unless it's talking about her grade A performance at being a spicy provider. No, actually, I wouldn't insult these spicy providers with such a disgusting comparison anyway. My boss looked at my blank stare and said, "Are you forgetting this whole conversation? A few weeks before we hired her, I asked for your reference. You said she was a team player and a great asset. Well, F me, I did refer someone when the position opened up. And when my boss asked for my reference, it was super off the books, very laid back and informal. I think her exact words back then were, so tell me about the woman you referred. I got her resume and she looks great on paper, but how she is a person. And I answered in reference to the actual woman that I referred. It turns out Crazy Pants really is that crazy. She must have gotten my employment info off my Facebook, like so many of you pointed out. I hadn't even thought of that before. And I have since changed my privacy settings. And she decided to apply to F with me or something. And by the way, I'm not effing around when I say you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you got the full archive in the palm of your hand.
Do it.
Like the power
else.
of the sun. I'm kind of shocked she didn't go to HR. I mean, it didn't end up being necessary, but
it wasn't necessary because it happened so quickly.
Yeah. Well, if you would have gone to HR, I'm sure it would have been like, but you referred her. They'd be like, the woman who's, wait. You referred the woman who slept with your husband?
Yeah.
Was it a fair partner with your husband?
I love how, what's her face? That's what we're calling her now, Rita Repulsa. How dumb can you be?
Yeah, true. Like
you didn't think it was going to get tracked back to you?
Just blinded by the crazy.
But also crazy at the workplace was just like, didn't bring this up to OP, not once until like further down the line until she got fired. It was like, why wasn't this brought up immediately when like, oh, so we're hiring somebody and you're the referral. Okay, who was it? How'd this happen? How'd this get through so many loopholes and like, it
just seems like one tiny miscommunication because
I don't know.
OP was just replying like it because she did refer somebody. So she was just replying to her boss like, oh yeah, the person I referred, 100%. She didn't even realize there could be another one. Crazy. I have no clue what her game was. She probably wanted me to get the reference request from my boss with her name actually said just to mess with me or let me know that she's watching. I don't know if she actually expected to be hired, but it doesn't matter now because she got super fired and probably needs a psych eval. I don't know. I don't care. She isn't worth worrying about. She's blocked from all my social media accounts, and our building security already has a record of fired employees to keep an eye out for. If I hear from her or see her again, then I'll look into legal protection from her crazy butt.
Nice. Good.
But for now, I'm letting the whole thing go. Bye, Felicia. And there are some comments. Comment number 1, wow. So she stole someone's identity to get a job. What happened to the person you actually did refer? So that's not what happened. Where's our reading comprehension commenter? OP says, no, not at all. The fact that I referred someone else and Crazy Pants put my name as a reference are coincidences. It isn't really her fault that my boss and I had a miscommunication regarding who we were actually talking about when we were talking about my referral. My boss was talking about Crazy Pants because she'd put my name as a reference, which I was not aware of. And I was talking about my friend who I had actually referred. My boss and I each assumed that we were talking about the same person when boss asked about my referral. Exactly. And that's the end of that story, folks.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah. I wouldn't act so nonchalant about this where you're like, I blocked her on all social media. I'm good. Again, you did say like I will get into legal matters if it does proceed. Great, but just know like this was 7 years in the making and she still is attached onto you and your husband. What's another 7 years? I don't know. Just keep an eye out for her. But great. Like I said, therapy for you and your husband. So in case this does happen in the future, you know.
My husband won't help with the baby at night.
Is he a baby at night?
I, 23 female, am the primary caregiver for our son. I watch him all day until his dad, 25 male, gets off work around 6 p.m. I go into work from 7 p.m. to 12, and during that time, he has to just make sure the baby stays alive during his sleep, as the baby's bedtime is at 7. By the way, this comes from Unconventional Mom, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I had burnout a few weeks ago and knew I couldn't keep this up. Watching him all day, going to work, then watching him all night was unaliving me. So I had to tell husband he needs to wake up at least once a night to feed the baby. He does. sometimes. I'm sorry. Why is OP the primary? I thought she was like a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
She's
no,
the
she's still
primary
doing it.
caregiver and she works?
Yeah.
That's kind of also insane to have like a whole partner and be like,
A
yeah,
whole
I'm
partner
the
doing
primary
nothing.
caregiver. That's crazy. For some reasons, if the baby wakes up, he will hand him to me while he warms a bottle. I don't do this. If he wakes up, I leave him in the crib and warm one. I don't see the point of us both being awake, but he will wake me up out of sleep and give our son to me, then take him back to feed him. The bottle takes 4 minutes to warm. During those few minutes, he will lay back in bed and somehow fall asleep so the baby doesn't get fed. He did this again last night for like the 20th time. I have told him that if he cannot put the baby to sleep, 98% he can't, to hand him to me. Baby is now at the age where he prefers me over dad and sometimes will fight sleep for hours until he sees me. Probably because you are the only one caring for him.
How does he have a 98% fail rate?
That's crazy. You can't have a 98% fail rate with a baby.
No.
That's just not okay. And also, yeah, your baby, it's not because your baby's at the age where it's like, oh, mama.
No.
It's probably because he's never seen his dad.
Right.
Or, yeah.
Oh my God.
I assume that's what he was doing. He had fed the baby and couldn't put him down, so he gave him to me, but he had not. The baby will fall back asleep on me, whether he has eaten or not, but he'll toss and turn and eventually wake up from hunger. That is so dangerous.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, you're not feeding your baby?
You're not even trying at that point if you're
No.
having that bad of a time doing it.
Truthfully.
Like,
Come on. I sleep terribly when the baby's on me because I'm not a back sleeper, and my brain knows the baby is beside me, so it's on panic mode, so I don't roll on top of him. I hate co-sleeping, especially with all of us in the bed. The whole point in him waking up to feed the baby is to let me get a few more hours of sleep. I'm not getting that, and now our baby won't settle for sleep again because he's starving and relentless. So me and the kid have been up since 5. This isn't the first time he's done this. He'll make bottles and just fall back asleep, and I end up having to be the one doing everything. I just don't understand how he can sleep knowing his son is hungry, tired or not. Like, I'm not tired too. I watch his son all day. I clean every day, I cook every day, and then I go to work and have to come back and watch the baby all night. I know parenthood is by definition a lack of sleep, but it's not supposed to be solely on one parent. I'm seriously contemplating this relationship because I have voiced my opinion multiple times on this issue.
you said this is your 20th time of
20th
this happening.
time. Ay. Come on. It's ridiculous. I mean, what's the point of being in a relationship with this person, co-parenting with this person, if he's not even parenting?
He's not doing anything to help you.
Yeah. Relevant comments. Commenter 1 says, what does the father say when you confront him about this? OP says he was the one who was pushing for himself to wake and help, actually, so I figured that was his compromise for it all. But he does apologize and says he doesn't remember falling asleep. I don't care.
Don't
I
sit
don't know,
back
set an
down.
alarm, yeah.
You're warming a bottle.
Commenter 2 says now that he knows he can't stay awake if he hop back in bed, there is no reason he should be doing anything during those 4 minutes, but standing there waiting for the bottle to finish warming up. He's being selfish and hoping you'll just do it yourself. OP says, I tell him this. I don't understand why he can't just stand for 4 minutes. Commenter 3 says, wake him up every time you get up at night to feed the baby. Make sure he stays awake while you're feeding. If that means turning on the light in the bedroom or feeding the baby in the dark, but in bed next to your husband, when the pain he's in is greater than the pain of change, he will change.
Yeah, I'd be making so much
Yeah.
noise at that point.
Oh, I'd be like, you're waking up
Drop
every
some
time.
pots or something.
Yeah, like, oh, sorry, did I wake you up? Oh,
sorry,
too
I had
bad.
to feed the baby.
Yeah, I had to feed the baby. I did it, though. I fed the baby. I didn't go back to sleep. At the very least, he will understand how tired you are. Opie says, I will. The crazy thing is just this week, he started only waking up twice. He used to wake up 4 to 5 times before, but he wakes up at 6 a.m., meaning I sleep like 4 hours. If his dad could literally just do one feeding. Oh, the baby.
The
Sorry.
baby's only waking up
The
2
baby's
times a
only
night,
waking up 2 times a night. And, oh, wow.
and she's doing both.
If his dad could literally just do one feeding, that's already half the work done. Has OP's husband been tested for any possible medical conditions that affect his sleep? OP says, I don't think so, but I'm no doctor, so I wouldn't know for sure. I'll bring it up, but you're right on the dot with men not liking doctors. When he's sick, in pain, anything of the sort, he will refuse to see one. He does snore and he will like choke and wake himself up sometimes. It's scary to hear. I always think he's going to pass away or something. I definitely think it's a possibility. He wakes up at 6 a.m. to get ready to leave for work. He gets home around 6 p.m. and I leave for work at 6 and come home around 11 to 12. So he really only gets a max of 6 hours of sleep because it takes him about 2 to 3 hours to put the baby to bed. That's not, that's like a normal.
Is like close to normal.
That's pretty close to normal. A lot of people only get 6 hours who aren't parents
Right.
of a newborn child.
And she's getting maybe 4.
Does OP's husband take any sleep-related medications? OP says, no, but he is a log. He's been like that since I've known him. He didn't budge with our mirror crashed down and shattered a few years ago, and he sleeps through all of his alarms, even when the phone is beside his head. Dude, what is this? His sleep does concern me sometimes because 1 second he's up, then the next he's out. Commoner 4 says, first off, do not close sleep with the baby. Super dangerous. It happens, sure, but it only takes 1 second for the baby to be blue and gone. Don't do that ever again. Next step, tell him he is not allowed back in your bed until the baby is fed. End of story. I have triplets, and I did night feeding, and I never once just handed my kids back. That being said, some dads have a hard time adjusting to the new regimen because they didn't carry that baby, and it just takes time to stop caring about oneself over another. Don't get resentful. He can do better, and you need to tell him as much. Good luck, mama. OP says, yes, we don't co-sleep. If he's in the bed, one of us is awake, or I wait until he's knocked out to transfer him because I can't sleep with him in the bed beside me. I definitely think it's a slow process. I just asked him like 2 weeks ago to start helping, and he just got this new job, so it's definitely a balancing thing, in my opinion. OP on her son's age and why it's necessary for him to have his feedings. He's a baby.
Yeah, but wait, read the next one.
OP says 10 months, but he has an ostomy bag and needs sodium supplements, so he needs at least 1 feeding at night. He won't drink salt water or else his electrolytes will drop too low. Oh my
But
goodness.
he's 10 months old, though. He's almost a year old.
Wow. And this has been going on that whole
Yeah.
time. And also, like, medical condition, clearly.
Yeah.
And
I think
is
that's when the
being-
bag is, like, outside of your
Yeah.
stomach. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, you're not feeding your child? Like, the dad's not feeding his kid who has a medical condition?
Right.
He wasn't allowed to start solids for a bit because he was in the NICU for so long, plus his surgeries afterwards, so he is just now starting to accept solids. It's a work in progress, and we clean his mouth after he eats like dentist advises. And there is an update, folks. But dang.
So she's also going to work,
Yeah.
coming home, cleaning the house, cooking dinner.
Yeah.
Is the one that's staying up, taking care of
Yeah.
a baby that has a medical condition
Yeah.
on 4 hours of sleep every
On
day.
4 hours of sleep.
That's so much.
I'm tired just thinking of this baby.
Yeah.
I mean, of this mom.
situation.
Not this baby.
Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, like, at that point, she'd probably get more sleep if she were the only parent.
Yeah.
You know, like,
She
what
wouldn't
is
be
he
getting
actually
handed.
doing?
She'd
Yeah.
get up 4 minutes and be done and go back to bed.
Yeah. And they probably wouldn't have to worry about baby, you know,
Right.
waking up later because it's hungry or something.
Ay,
Oy, oy, oy. 3 days later. Just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who gave thoughts, opinions, and advice. I realized pretty quickly I wouldn't be able to answer everyone, and a lot of the same questions were being asked as well. For starters, my husband missing a feeding doesn't hurt his medical condition because I make sure I double the amount before bed, allowed, and I'm always up around 4 to 5 a.m. to give him a feed regardless, so he's always getting his sodium supplements. Look up Hirschsprung's disease if you're interested to learn about our baby's condition. Also, I think some people get confused and thought him missing a feed was every night, but it only happens about twice a month. Still frustrating when it happens, though. Anyways, updates start here. I asked him why he hands the baby to me, and he says he does it because he can't hold himself while getting milk, mixing supplements in, and keeping him in the crib to cry will wake me up more.
Yeah. It's
What?
really hard to hold a bottle and shake it. With
Okay,
a baby
yeah.
in your hand, apparently.
Do we have a... I'm gonna... Okay. This is my baby.
Is your baby?
My baby. My shaker.
That's
Very
really
easy.
hard.
It's
That's
really hard.
Yeah,
And
I
you know,
know.
when you gotta
I
mix
know
the
I make
stuff
it look
in,
easy. So hard.
So hard. You gotta mix the stuff
yeah.
in. Oh.
It's hard to balance on this, actually.
Oh, you have a table.
But I'm balancing it anyway.
Crazy.
Microwave, ready? Whoa, how did I do that?
Whoa.
And also, second thing, gonna put the baby back. Here you go.
Yeah.
What do you mean waking up your wife will wake her up less than her hearing a baby crying? He said waking you up will wake you up less.
Yeah, you're waking up the same amount.
But you're still waking up, except in one hand you're having to hold a baby, and the other hand you're like, oh, baby's crying. Earplugs.
I do think it is a thing though when new moms hear a baby cry, they are like very awake really quickly. Like I think that's like
I mean, but the baby, she's probably waking up right
but also
away.
hold the baby and make the bottle and it won't
Literally.
be crying.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. He normally will take the baby back 98% of the time. He said he'll stop and bring the baby into the living room and let him cry there while he gets everything done. Just figure out how to hold the baby. I asked why he falls asleep, and he told me that he genuinely does not. You know what? You can get like a little papoose, and then you can do everything.
Oh, is that like a holder for the baby?
Yeah, it's like a little A lot of people went straight to calling him an awful and a crap dad, but I see this man every day and can promise he is anything but that. He's just lazy. Or so I thought. I brought up sleep apnea because there were tons of people saying to look into it. I asked him to tell me what sleep was like for him, and I'll give you the short version. He wakes up constantly because he feels like he loses his breath, heart stops, but he does fall right back asleep, so he doesn't mind it too much. He sweats so much he ends up cold from being drenched. It's bad. His mouth is always dry and hoarse from his obnoxious snoring. It's gone awful. Oh my God. So this poor woman, even when she's sleeping, she can't get sleep because he's probably snoring. And also, I don't even feel that bad for him because he could have gone to the doctor. And he refused to go to the doctor. So I'm sorry, if you're like, oh, well, my sleep is pretty awful and I can't breathe, but I didn't go to the doctor.
And also, this is the 20th, at least now, because we've been longer, 20th time of this happening. And every time she was like, I need you to stay up, he never once said this.
During the day, he has micro naps, so his head is constantly bobbing at work. He has to roll the windows down with the AC at full blast and music at max, so he stays up while driving sometimes. Another thing that I myself have diagnosed him with, so I could be wrong, is insomnia. Insomnia? Look it up.
What?
I did this years ago because when we first started dating, I noticed at night when we were passed away asleep, he would initiate spicy sleep every night. I went along with it. But when we would wake the next morning, he would always joke about how I was a wild card at night and couldn't keep my hands off of him.
Wait, does he have it or she has it? That sounded like he was the one asleep for that.
Well, it seems like he initiates when he's asleep and then wakes up.
Oh,
and she's like, hello?
Continuing the deed.
Okay. I was baffled and told him I was just following his lead, and he too was baffled. He had no memory of anything he did at night to me or himself. Huh? He still doesn't know when he does it. Well, guess what one of the causes for spicy somnia? Sleep apnea. He has done all of these things since I've known him. Also, he sticks his arm straight in the air and strokes it while he sleeps. Very creepy, and just want to let you know what I deal with. Oh my goodness. We came to an agreement because he fought me on seeing a doctor that he would have telemed virtual appointment with a doctor, and if they advised us to come in, we would yesterday before he went to work. I set up the earliest appointment we could get. No surprise, she heavily advised he come in and start a sleep test with the clinic with all his symptoms, including my awkward nighttime stories. Really weird telling a doc your husband is a spicy sleeper. The arm thing is apparently a self-soothing thing too, by the way. He was on the fence, but she also said they offer a sleep test at home kit and we could do it ourselves. However, I don't know if I trust it. And she said it's not as reliable and there could be issues that we wouldn't know about. We have an appointment next week to see a doctor in person about this, and we will decide then. But I will leave it to him as it's his sleep and comfort. No, it isn't.
It's
the thing
your
is, it's
sleep
not.
and comfort
Your
too.
sleep and comfort are being disrupted. Your baby's sleep and safety are being disrupted. It's not really about him anymore.
Your baby's not eating sometimes.
Like, I honestly don't really give a one care in the world about his fear of doctors. I don't care.
I don't care at all.
I'd be like, no, you're going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Because this is unless what, our child's safety is at risk. The kit is covered by our insurance, but it comes with the risk of being less accurate. We are making a sleep schedule, but knowing he might have a sleep disorder, I don't want him waking with the baby. As of now, we agreed I should cut my hours down at work. That way I'm not so tired. I can handle less sleep with less hours work. I am upset with him because I only knew about his snoring and sweating. I had no idea he had trouble staying up and working or driving, and that's frustrating because what if he had to watch the baby alone one day, or if he hurt someone or himself on the road? We're definitely going to have another conversation about honesty and communication because these issues could have been solved months ago.
Yeah, the baby's
Exactly.
10 months old.
By the way, you'll never have any issues if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Make him get that test. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if he's scared of the doctor.
No, I'd be like, we're not going to do the at-home test because it's less
No.
accurate, and I want to solve this. so that
Also,
you
I'm
can
pretty
get
sure a
good
sleep test is literally you just go to the
You go
doctor,
to the
they
sleep.
put some thingies on your head, and you go to sleep.
That's it.
They're not out here doing like a bunch of different tests. It's literally you
Yeah.
just sleep.
I don't know if I could do one of those, though.
Because you'd have trouble going to sleep.
Yeah.
I think I would also have trouble going to sleep, but I think that helps the test maybe.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you have insomnia.
Oh, look at that. You're here because you can't sleep.
I was
And
like,
you can't sleep.
You can't sleep? What? Relevant comments. Commenter 1 says, make sure he knows that he can pass away from untreated sleep apnea. Heart attack and stroke can occur while he's sleep suffocating. OP says, the doctor and I both heavily emphasize this to him. He's worried, but not as worried as I think he should be. But according to him, he's lived the past 10 years like this, so another week or two won't hurt.
Yeah, it won't hurt him. It'll hurt you.
Hopefully his luck stays up with that mindset. Commenter 2 says, I hope your husband takes this seriously. He is literally fighting for his life every single night, and it's taking a massive toll on his health. It's also creating a safety risk for your baby, and he's gambling with his life and future by delaying diagnosis and treatment. So tell him to drop the stubbornness and do exactly what the doctor recommends as quickly as possible. OP says he hasn't been to the doctor once since I've known him, and according to him, his mother was the last one who took him at 15.
He hasn't been to the
What?
doctor since he was 15.
What? That's such a red flag to me, honestly.
That's
Like, okay, I will amend that statement because obviously there are financial
right.
reasons why a person can't go to the doctor.
But the
that
fact that
doesn't
he's
seem
just
like that's-
scared of the
yes.
doctor and his mom at 15 was like, well, you don't have to go anymore.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, what? Like, if it is not a financial reason,
Go to the doctor.
go to the doctor.
I think that's a real thing that men die
Yeah.
like 10 to 15 or
Because they
pass
don't-
away
yeah,
10 to
they're
15
like,
years
"Well, I don't
earlier
need to."
because they don't go to the doctor. It's a totally fixable probability.
Yeah.
They just don't go to the doctor.
And they're like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's probably fine. Go to the doctor.
We're too scared to make the appointment.
Yeah. You're like, I
You
have to
do-
call
I
them
could
myself.
call them.
Mommy, can you make the appointment for me?
Yeah. I tell him every other day to see a doctor as he's always had some random or concerning pain. Commenter 3 says, this needs to be a hill you pass away on. Let him know in no uncertain terms that if he doesn't go in to do a proper sleep study, he can pack his crap and move out. I know it seems extreme, but he's putting his life on the line. He's putting your life on the line every time he drives you, and he's putting your child's life on the line. This cannot be negotiable. Keep in mind, sleep deprivation is a form of torture. He has literally been torturing himself for 10 plus years. OP says, yes, once I heard the driving part, I knew this wasn't a game anymore. I've already set him his appointment, and I'm driving him to make sure it's done. Mommy set your appointment? Mommy set your appointment for you? Also, luckily for us, his best friend works at the same job and lives in the same apartment complex as us, so he's offered to drive him to work until his appointment. With all the help and support he's getting right now, if he doesn't keep up his end of the deal, I'll have to fight him and drag him there myself. Does OP and her husband have family close by that can help out or be the support system? OP says, my parents aren't too far, but not close enough to help at night. They're out of the country at the moment as well. I do not get along with his mother as she has issues with obeying our baby's sleep/feeding schedules. So we are low contact with them and only see them once every 2 weeks. I don't trust help from her, nor do I want it. It will cause me more stress than I already have. It's just us three at the moment, but I do believe cutting my work hours will help a lot with my stress and sleep. Commenter 4 says, I can't believe you agreed to let him shirk his responsibility and you cut your hours at work to make up for it. So now your career will suffer. Holy heck, OP. He's acting like a child and like he doesn't have any agency at all, and you're falling for this weaponizing incompetence crap. He let his medical issues affect his family to this degree and still won't see a doctor until you force him to. This story is infuriating to read, not a happy update. He has medical issues, okay? He did nothing to address them for years, even when you begged, and still doesn't take responsibility. Sleep test at home for what reason? when you can get a better test at the doctor and they offered it, it's pure laziness and selfishness. If he cared about his family, he would do everything he can to make sure he is healthy and present for them. Now your career takes a hit while he can continue to let you do every single thing for him, including managing his health like he's the baby, which is what you said.
Which I called
You
the
called from the
beginning.
OP says the plan was for me to quit my job and become a stay-at-home mom from the beginning. I hate my job. It's physical labor. And I certainly don't love working, especially when it means I can't see my son. He is going to the doctor. He was iffy about whether to do the test at home or at the clinic because of work.
No, not a reason. Not a reason.
It's a new job and he doesn't have the same leeway as his other. He's been iffy for 10 years.
This is
That's
a
not an
sleep
excuse.
test.
Sleep test.
It's
and
at
also,
night.
well, not necessarily.
I think
they-
usually they're
Really?
overnight. I think. I
Okay,
could be
well,
wrong.
even regardless of that,
I'm sure
it's
there's
been
different
10
times.
years.
Yeah.
So this is, I just always like, oh, well, now I have a new excuse.
Yeah.
But he is going to the doctor. He's going to decide which test is best when he gets there and go with whatever the doctor decides. He didn't know he had an actual issue and just blames stress. I didn't know either, and I never asked him to test for apnea. He gets bad migraines and his side hurts sometimes. Those are the issues I was referring to. But while he's there, he has to get a general workup anyways, so we'll see if he has any other underlying conditions. And he'll bring anything else up because he would rather do it all there than make a second appointment. OP on having babysitting sources for her son. OP says most babysitters aren't comfortable with handling a baby with special care like an ostomy bag. If it were to fall off, they would be responsible for reapplying his dressings, and that's a lot to ask for anyone. I enjoy watching my son and already work part-time as it is. We have already discussed how we aren't comfortable with our son being in daycare or having a babysitter. They aren't cheap, and it would be more money than it's worth. I don't mind watching my son day and night if I'm not working because I can sleep when he does. As of now, my job drains me physically and emotionally. I can barely keep my eyes open after work. But on my days off, I have no problems. If I had a job I loved, it would be 100% different. And that is the end of that story. But OP, good luck. I hope your husband goes and gets tested.
I hope it's something they can actually like treat.
Yeah. Yeah.
If she gets any more sleep.
I know. And it's like, you know, a lot of these things get worse the longer that you go without treatment.
Yeah.
So let's hope there's no
Especially 'cause-
lasting damage.
Yeah. A lot of times too, I think with sleep apnea, one of the first things that they do is your tonsils.
Yeah.
And that hurts the older you are.
Yeah.
So
Good luck, dude. And also good luck, OP. And I hope that you get the help and support from your partner that you deserve
Yeah.
and need.
oh my God.
But that is the end of that story. My friends tolerated my husband's affair.
No tolerance allowed here.
I, 26 female, have been married to my husband, Dylan, 26 male, for 3 years. We got together when we were 17, but we've known each other since the 4th grade. Wow. I love my husband. He's the total package, funny, sweet, smart, and attractive. He's made my life amazing, and he's who I fully intended on spending the rest of my life with. By the way, this comes from Alternative Sync 483. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we attended all the same schools from the time we met up until college. In that time, we both made our own friend groups. He's been more connected with his friends than I have, and because of that, I've become a part of the group as well. I'd like to think. In that time, I've been at around 50% of their group hangouts, mostly because of my job, but sometimes I'm just straight up not invited. I didn't question any of this because, hey, they're his friends. He doesn't see them nearly as often as he sees me. It's not my business. My husband met his best friend, Caro, 27 male, long before he met me. I knew almost nothing about Caro up until recently. He wasn't at our wedding, nor did he attend any of the same schools as us. And I was under the impression he wasn't friends with anyone in our group. I thought all of this was because of his line of work. As I was told, he traveled a lot. Last year, me and my husband went to a barbecue hosted by another couple in the group. Caro was there. I didn't recognize him at first, but when I realized who he was, I was honestly kind of shocked. I'd seen him in person before, but he always kept a very good distance from me, which I'm realizing now was intentional. Anyways, he's totally stunning. He looks like he could be a supermodel.
He's attractive. Too attractive.
Oh no, he's hot.
I think OP's husband is maybe doing some stuff with Caro.
Maybe our theory in the first story is the theory for the second story.
We just saw too far ahead. This man might be bi or gay. When I attempted to make conversation with him, he seemed really nervous and totally shut me down after a few sentences. When I mentioned this behavior to anyone else, they also shut me down, saying things like, "That's just how he is." Or maybe you said something that offended him. Or maybe you married the guy that he likes. In short, no one would tell me anything about Caro at all. Any conversation that involved him was a no-go. At the end of the night, I tried talking to Dylan about his behavior. He told me Caro didn't like me.
Oh.
Straight up.
Okay.
I was confused because I'd hardly seen him in person at all, let alone actually talk to him. The excuse my husband gave was that he disliked me because I cheated on my husband once in college, and Caro was too stubborn to let it go. Wait, I'm sorry. Whoa, did you?
There was little quotes around cheated, so I'm...
Did you cheat on your husband? Why did you put quotes around that?
I hope we get some details. I'm wondering if it's a thing of like they were on a informed each other. She informed Opie, whatever, that they were on a break, and then she saw someone, and then they got back together.
Opie literally doesn't address that at all. Okay.
Well, we can only assume that there is actual cheating because that's all it says. Cheated. Although there's some quotes.
I've seen Caro less than a dozen times since then, mostly at birthday parties, huge get-togethers, and on one occasion he came to our house to watch a football game with my husband and a few of their other buddies. Anyways, a few weeks ago, my husband went fishing with his cousin. Sorry.
Also in quotes.
Went fishing with his cousin.
What's up with all these quotes?
What do these quotes mean? That same night, I had some of the girls in our friend group over for a girls' night type thing. Lily, 24 female, was scrolling through some social media. I was glancing over her shoulder when I saw a selfie of Dylan and Caro sitting next to each other in a hot tub. The selfie had been posted maybe 30 minutes ago. I asked Lily about what I had seen and she went pale. She tried saying, "Nothing," but I snatched the phone from her and went to the profile that posted the photo. The profile belonged to my husband. It was a private profile, and scrolling through the photos, most of them were dirty jokes or memes, but the rest of them were photos of him and Caro. How stupid do you have to be to document your cheating online?
This is a new level that we have not seen before.
Wow, he's dumb.
He has a whole Finsta dedicated
to his cheating.
It seems like the cheating and then maybe...
And also dirty memes.
Yeah, like maybe like things that are out of character for what his partner thinks about him, which is like...
Yeah.
Why not just be who you are? And
it's like the Spider-Man cave man meme, like that. And then the caption is, when your wife asks you who you're fishing with and you say your cousin.
This is my cousin.
Either they were hanging out alone or with the rest of the group, minus me. Most of the photos, they seemed way too close, too touchy, or doing things that seemed too personal or intimate for friends to be doing. I spent a good 10 minutes looking before I couldn't take it anymore. I was horrified. All of the photos were dated to nights my husband told me he was working late, hanging out with this relative or that, times that he told me he was doing something else, and obviously, hangouts I wasn't invited to. Lily just sat there looking dumb. She didn't say anything, but all the girls were looking at us like a bomb had just gone off. They clearly knew what I had seen, and their reactions were enough to confirm exactly what I was afraid of. I was livid. I started yelling. Lily was crying, and the rest of the girls were freaking out. When I started to calm down and demanded that they explain what was going on, Lily told me everything. Dylan and Caro had been sleeping together and very essentially dating. I mean, they have a Finsta together behind my back since before we even got married. They got together during a 1-month break me and Dylan had during college. They stuck together ever since, which I'm wondering if that is when the supposed cheating happened.
That's what I would guess, but we don't have
don't know. We don't
the
have proof.
narrator's confirmation.
Yeah, they knew, and none of them told me until I found out the hard way. Caro wasn't at our wedding because he felt guilty. He avoided me like the effing plague because he felt guilty. They arranged group meetups in a group chat I wasn't in because they all liked Caro enough to spare his feelings. Even the guys in the group felt the same way about him, apparently. Caro was never as distant as I thought he was. He was just being hidden. Dylan was hiding him from me because he didn't want me to find out they were together. By the end of it, half of us were sobbing and everyone who wasn't was apologizing to me. I would literally drop all of them. I would literally leave my husband and all of them behind.
What are these people not, Sophia?
Friends. I was so angry. I made them swear they wouldn't say anything to Dylan or anyone else. I punted them all out and cried myself to sleep. I was basically in denial like it was some kind of effing prank. My husband didn't come home until the next morning. He told me all about the supposed fishing trip he went on.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't say anything about what I knew. I guess he could tell something was wrong because he kept asking me what was wrong all day, every 5 effing minutes. Eventually, I just told him I'd been in an argument with my sister. By the end of the week, I was totally numb. Last night, while my husband was handing out candy to kids, I saw a notification pop up on his phone. Since I knew his password, I opened it. It was a text from Caro. I looked through the conversations they'd had. It confirmed everything. It was devastating. Dylan texted Caro the exact same way he texted me. He told Caro he loved him. Every sweet thing he said to me had been said in his conversations with Caro. I was hardly mentioned. I put his phone back before he noticed. Dylan is at work now. I don't know what to do. I could never imagine myself leaving Dylan because he's such a loving partner and a good man. No, he is not. Those are bad man, bad partner things.
It's why is it always they're
such a
so
good
sweet
partner.
and amazing and perfect, except for the horrible everything.
Yeah,
about
except
them.
for when he cheated on you, your whole relationship. Your whole relationship.
Come on.
You guys are 26. You married 3 years ago. He started cheating on you in college.
Good math. Over 3 years of this?
Even more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if this happened, like, let's say they were 20, 21, 5, 6 years of cheating.
Everyone in the friendship
Everyone
hid
knew.
it for that long.
Everyone.
Every
I would
single
never
person.
forgive them.
Oh.
I would never forgive them.
Oh my God.
What a betrayal. But I can't see myself winning in a competition against Caro if that's what it comes down to. I can't even make myself be disgusted or angered by Dylan. I love him too much. I'm not even upset with Caro, but I'm so hurt. I don't want to risk losing my husband, and I don't want to share him. I mean, you've lost him. He's cheated on you for 6 years. That you don't have him.
But does OP know that? Are we going to go down the how do I, win him back street when we should be going down the you have done the unthinkable street?
That's what it feels like.
Goodbye.
And also, Amy Lynn says not only is he cheating on you, but he's treating Caro horribly too. Caro is obviously in love with him. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He's cheating on you, lying to you, having everyone around him lie to you. And then also he's hiding Caro and forcing Caro to hide, which Caro is just as, is absolutely as culpable in this.
Yes.
But like, this is just horrible.
Conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
I wonder if Caro was like, I want to be real. I want to have all these things. Like, I want to be, I want to show the world. And he's like, okay, I'll make an Instagram on private.
Yeah, I'll make
give
this
you a little,
Finsta.
I'll give you a little bit. It's like a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
So it all comes crashing down on your nasty face.
Exactly. I called Lily and my sister this morning and told them about what I had found. They both asked what I'm going to do, and I had nothing to say. I don't know what to do at all. And folks, there is an update. But what does OP do?
It seems that OP is in the headspace, and we see this in our stories. When people initially get the bombshell, they're like, oh, like, how do I fix things? Like, what do I do? How do I da-da-da-da-da? And it's like, no, this person has totally eviscerated your trust and done a horrible, unthinkable thing. And clearly shows no guilt because they've done it for at least 3 years. Yeah. At least 3 years minimum. Probably way more. So I think you go and it's like, hey, again, like divorce. You can go to counseling, but I don't know. To me, it is the length and years that he's done it. It is the fact that he got all the friends to hide it, that he clearly had no sign or no guilt or no remorse. Mm-hmm. Like that, if this is also obviously horrible, but if someone cheated on their partner and then they were immediately like, you know what? I made the biggest mistake of my life. I got to own up to it. I got to do those things. At least there's like remorse. At least there's like something to work with, and they're showing that they have that honesty, integrity, and other things that could potentially help the relationship. But this guy has none of those.
Nothing. Yeah, 100% agree.
Man's
like
pulling they're pulling a Hannah Montana.
Best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. Yeah.
Yep.
But you can't have the best of both worlds.
There isn't a limo out front.
Ooh.
Oh, whoa.
No Mitchell Musso. Okay. I'm going to take my leg tassels and do some of that to you.
Watch out, folks. He's taking his leg tassels to you.
He's lifting off.
Oh,
he's
boy.
Flying.
Whoa, he's a helicopter.
It's a no-fly zone.
Propellers.
Whoa. Where'd he go? Oh, there he goes. Anyway, there's an update. Dylan came home last night around 10. I had a whole speech prepared to confront him with, but I could only end up saying, I know about you and Kara. I'll spare the details of the conversation because it's still raw, but he left around midnight. He only took a few of his things. I haven't spoken to him since, aside from him telling me he was coming to get more of his things. And after our conversation, I've decided to go through with divorce. I've collected all the necessary information and I'll be getting in touch with a lawyer shortly. And there is a second update. But yeah, I mean, OP has made the correct decision to leave him.
I was worried.
Yeah. There was really no other, this wasn't a one-time thing. This wasn't a, drunk, or like under the influence mistake. This was, which all would be very valid for you to leave him for.
Yep, 100%.
This was 6 years of informed cheating that everyone around you knew about and let happen.
Yep.
Update 2. I'm leaving Dylan. No, I did not actually cheat on him. Yay! Thank you.
We're now going to get the details.
It was a huge misunderstanding between the two of us that led him to believe and tell people that I cheated. I don't even know if what he told me about Caro's dislike for me is or was true. No, I'm not going to sue him for everything he has. Wait, tell us more about the cheating. You didn't tell us a lot. I will no longer be speaking to anyone from that group. Good. I may have been naive, but I'm not stupid. No, I still do not know why they chose to betray me like that, and I don't intend on finding out. Yes, while his parents were accepting of LGBTQ, I don't think they would have been okay with Dylan marrying a man. From here on out, I doubt I will have anything to say. That is all. Thank you. Also, I have never watched Brokeback Mountain, but the jokes about it did make me chuckle. And folks, there's another update.
Oh.
I think this is the last update.
Oh, wow. What more could transpire that has not already transpired?
Yeah, I know. Where else can this go? Hopefully somewhere good where OP's like, I've improved myself. I've gone to therapy and now I'm married to a wonderful person. And we have a mansion and a limo out front. Oh.
That's what I want to see. OP deserves the best of both worlds.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
But not in a cheating way. Just in like a Hannah Montana kind of way. About 8 months ago, I posted here seeking a release from an ugly, brutal situation involving my cheating, now ex-husband. I've been working really hard on getting better for myself, and since then I've done okay. Until a week and a half ago. No!
And that's why there's another update, ladies and gentlemen. That's why there's another update.
10 days ago, I heard from one too many distant mutual friends that Caro left Dylan. It makes me so happy to hear that he got what he deserved. The man he had to have left him. Unfortunately, Caro hasn't received his end of the karma and is still just as effing perfect as the day I found out he was having an affair with my husband.
Dang it.
By the way, it would be perfect if you listened to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story. Is OP only upset because Caro's just still kind of perfect? She's like, it was fine until 10 days ago when I found out Caro was so perfect.
Sometimes people are hot, evil,
yeah,
and get away with it. And that is a frustrating experience.
It is frustrating, but life is not fair. And sometimes evil, hot people get ahead in the world. That is a lot of the celebrities, honestly. That's kind of their whole thing, being evil and hot.
That's it.
And it sucks.
Kaylee says his karma will come eventually.
Yeah. Eventually.
I hope that's not the name of Caro's new boo.
Oh, I thought it he releases a new album. His first album. It's called Karma.
Caro's Karma.
Caro's Karma.
Oh God.
Or that, you know what? Actually, that would be a really good perfume. Caro's Karma.
Smells like bad deeds getting justice.
However, I'd be lying if I said I cared or had any ill will towards him. I don't. Just my ex-husband. Heck, if I saw him in a parking lot, I'd sprint over, shake his hand, and tell him I'm glad he delivered my ex-husband his much-deserved karma. I don't know how Dylan is doing now, but I hope he sees how it hurts being betrayed like that. Anyways, you can consider this the end of the line. No more updates. No nothing. All I can and will do from now on is heal. Okay, so everything's fine.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all you can do, and the best. It's always good to heal, grow, and self-care, and especially, my goodness, especially in these scenarios.
Agreed.
That's right.
Agreed. My husband wants to relocate for a new job, but we never talked about it.
Don't worry. I'm just going to be on a ship for 12 months straight, and you guys can come with us.
My husband and I have been together for 6 years, married for 3. We lived together for 1.5 years before marriage. No kids, but planned for them eventually. My husband is from another state, pretty far away, but lived in this area. Not my home state, but a larger city very near my hometown/home state. Before he met me for 4 years. I know it's not his favorite place to live, but when we discussed it before we got married, and again before we bought a house, he didn't mention any desire to move. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Stergo, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. He has apparently, secretly, for over a week, almost 2, I found out about his interviews on Facebook, started applying and getting interviews he needed to fly out to on the West Coast. He wants to move out west to his home state or near it, and he said he never brought it up before because A, he felt his skills were too out of date to do well anywhere else, and B, I would not be receptive, especially as I was working on a graduate degree for a while. He said he's acting now because he doesn't want us to have kids here and be locked in here forever. He also said it's his time, and I should be willing to move for him to be successful because there are few companies in his field here. I guess I should add that my husband and I are both in STEM and have good jobs, but his field is more niche. He actually has a director title and has advanced more than me, but he makes less money because I don't put the same kind of restrictions on jobs as he does. He wants to be in a certain field with a certain type of company and thinks a lot of corporations are dirty, including the one I work for. So I'm not even a manager, but I make quite a bit more than him and pay more of our joint expenses because of that. Money is partially joined. We funnel the majority % of our salaries into a joint account and each keep a percentage for individual fun stuff, gifts, etc. This is kind of upsetting to me. I don't want to move to his home state at all, which is where most of the interviews are and many jobs in his particular niche. One is in a state/city I might consider in some capacity. I don't want to sell our house and be set back financially. The state he wants to move to is also more expensive. I like my job and my company and don't particularly want a new one either. At the same time, I don't want my husband to be miserable, and I know he doesn't particularly like this area and has been growing to hate his job more and more. There are very few companies that are in his niche and meet his criteria here, and I get that. My husband and friends are all acting like what he wants to do is totally normal because his career is a little dead-ended here. Even my friends are saying things like, it's for his career, you can work anywhere. I don't live to work, I work to live. But that's part of why I like my job, because I have no managerial responsibility, easy days, every other Friday off. That's nice. And I still make 6 figures. It took me years to find that gig, and I'm not sure I'd find another one right away when we moved. Some of my friends also pointed out that my husband's career is more important because he is ambitious and I am not. But I think that's just kind of a sexist cop-out. They say it's not sexist because it's based on his ambition and not as being a man, but I don't know. Edit, our friends know because he was talking about some of the interviews on Facebook, which is literally how I found out. Last night, many of them tried to convince me for him at the pub, and I was really annoyed. I feel really, really trapped here. I do love my husband, and I never knew this was part of the deal. My friends are here. My family is either here or very near. Less than 3 hours in a few directions, while my husband doesn't have any family left in his home state except his mom, who he only calls when I remind him. My job is here, and I honestly have hated his home state every time I've been there. The culture there is just very, very different. Now, the other state, where he has only one interview for our in-home state, would be less bad, as I actually have a cousin near there who I'm very good friends with and a few friends. But my husband has not been receptive to limiting himself to that area because there are less companies there he'd work for. I think at the very least, if I'm willing to move, his home state should be off the table because it's unfair to just drag me around to wherever. He says that basically me blocking him from being successful because there are few opportunities in other state too. And what if he doesn't get that one? We've been happy otherwise, but I really think this situation may lead to a divorce. And there is an update. I think there's a huge possibility that this could lead to divorce if you don't want to compromise and he doesn't want to compromise. And I'm not saying that I mean, he definitely is in the wrong for how he went about it, but neither of you are necessarily in the wrong for wanting those things. You guys just want fundamentally different things.
I have so many questions for the husband. I wish he was here and I could be like, yo, what's happening at work? One, is he working right now?
He is, but he's just saying his job doesn't really allow him to kind of progress in advance, whereas I think the places on the West Coast would allow him to.
It feels fishy all of a sudden. Is that true? That's my question. Is that true? And then second, why does he want to get away right now? Does something at work happen? He's trying to get away from it?
I think you could also, I think you could bring up all those questions like, why now? Why didn't you tell me? All of that. But I think, honestly, it's less important. It was kind of a crap storm. Some people called me domineering witch who hates my husband. Some people brought up good points on both sides. Some people empathized with me. Some people thought my husband was a hipster who needed to grow up or someone who just wanted me to pay off his student loans or whatever. Lots of different confused. And reading them all, even the ones I vehemently argued with, helped me greatly in coming to a decision. What happened next? He continued trying to use one of our friend groups, the newer one, mostly those friends who are also in our neighborhood, and brought it up at a happy hour on Wednesday. It was made plainly clear to me that based on what he's telling these people, they think A, he is the breadwinner, very not true, and makes more than me. B, we will financially benefit from the choice he's making, probably not true. And C, that I don't like my job and have thought about being a stay-at-home mom when we have kids, which we were planning to have soon. My company has good leave, including 6 months paid. Wow. That I would probably take, and free awesome daycare with childcare workers who have pretty good qualifications, so that was not my plan at all. None of these things are true, basically, but I bit my tongue before blurting out that I had paid the vast majority of expenses so far because of his student debt, now gone, thankfully, and would never want to stop working. It was very hard when one of our female neighbors around our age, but with kids, touched my arm and said, "Honey, you have to do what's best for your family finances, especially if you want little ones." I didn't want to embarrass him, and clearly this was something he wanted them to think, but he knew he effed up, and as soon as we got home, we had a big fight. My decision! I said no. Maybe that makes me a stubborn, domineering witch, but I said I was not moving to SoCal basically ever. I certainly was not moving when he went about it this way. I said I did not appreciate him bringing up a move at all just 2 years after going through all the crap to close on a house, especially when we got the more expensive, bigger house he wanted that I did not want. And we talked about trade-offs at that point. I told him I felt a little entrapped because every time I tried to bring up moving to places that might work for him, but wouldn't completely suck for me or be poor financial decisions, he has shut me down. I tried to say it kinder than this, but I'm trying to keep this post short. I said I would consider, after counseling and trying other things locally, a move to somewhere, assuming it made financial sense. We could deal with the house without losses, and we were in a more solid place. But I said no. His reaction, he basically broke down crying because A, he doesn't want to lose me. B, he doesn't feel he's in control of his life or career since he can't move wherever he gets the best offer. He told me he would cancel the interviews and went into a big thing about how he will never be happy either way because he can't be happy without me and I won't go with him. He does not want to go to counseling though, or work on any kind of problem solving I put forth. I don't know if that will change in time, and this was just the initial emotional reaction. We have been distant since Wednesday. I tried to rediscuss again this evening and he just shut down. Didn't want to talk. Said he loves me, but he doesn't understand why we can't want the same things. One thing he said that bothered me was that I cared too much about finances, but I feel frankly like if I didn't care so much and take care of that side, our financial health would be crappy. His was before we met, even though he earns well enough to live comfortably. He just lived outside his means, and he never takes responsibility for that stuff. And you should take responsibility for listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. You have any final thoughts?
Finances?
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I mean, the way she was analyzing it, I don't think he's paying any of the bills. And like, I don't think he also understands that he's living outside of his means, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe have a step into that, being like, hey, this is what I'm making, this is what you're making. This is the flexibility I have in order to have a family. It doesn't seem like that's your priority right now. It seems like you want to do your thing. But whenever you married me, did they have a conversation or expectations of, hey, we're going to marry to have a family, not for you to be selfish or like to do your own thing?
Yeah.
Probably bring that up again.
Like, he's totally allowed to say, like, I want to do this, but maybe, like, have that conversation. Maybe you should have had that a while ago of, hey, I don't think I want to live here forever. Let's talk about, I want to pursue a career. Could have gone about it so much. I also think it was crappy when he clearly presented himself as the financially savvy one, a big breadwinner who could take care of me to our newer friends. I honestly don't know what to do. I don't want a miserable husband forever, and he doesn't seem interested in solving the problem. I definitely don't want to give up my job and move now with all of my reservations because I feel like my fears were totally confirmed and he has way deeper issues he's refusing to work through. I'm thinking of giving an ultimatum of basically counseling or divorce, but I did want to post an update and see what people think because I truly don't want to be the authoritarian, domineering witch that some folks on Reddit thought I was. And I thought perspectives would help me get my head straight again. And maybe it's too authoritarian to give him an ultimatum, and I should give him time to work it out. But I'm just wary of this issue continually reemerging. Heck, maybe it's already time for a divorce, but he says that's the last thing he wants. And if not for this issue, I wouldn't consider it, as I love and enjoy my husband and just think he's going through some kind of midlife crisis or something.
Yeah,
folks, that's the end of that story.
case. I don't know. This is really weird.
My husband still lives with his parents even after we got married.
You disgust me.
My husband, 37 male, and I, 29 female, have been together for almost 6 years, married for a little over 1. I moved from Canada to the US to be with him, left behind my friends, the life I knew, because I thought marriage would finally mean we'd share our lives for real. But now that I'm here, it doesn't feel like we live together at all. By the way, this comes from Stranded and Surviving. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, he spends almost all of his time at his parents' house. He goes there for breakfast every morning, works remotely from there, showers there, keeps all of his stuff, his clothes, his computer, everything there. I also work remotely, but I'm alone in our home every day.
Oh.
Around 3:30 p.m., I go over to join them for lunch. I help wash the dishes. Sometimes I stay longer just to be with him. At 6:30 p.m., we usually go to the gym together. That's one of the few parts of the day we share. But on days we don't go, I'm just home alone from after lunch until about 11 p.m. when he finally comes back to sleep. He says I should be grateful that I have it easy, that I don't appreciate how good my life is. But I didn't imagine marriage would feel like this, like I'm still waiting for it to begin. It's not a great start when it seems like you're bringing up issues and he's like, well, you should be grateful.
Yeah.
You can't complain.
Yeah, you should be grateful that I get to do what I want and then I just don't have to consider your feelings at all. You should love that.
Yeah. I try to hold things together. I do most of the chores at home. I try not to complain because, well, he's not really here. I've also been the one buying furniture, decorating slowly to try and make this place feel like a real home. He's never really bought anything for the house, I guess because he doesn't see it as his. But lately, I'm tired. I don't feel motivated to add anything else to the space because no matter what I do, it still feels like it's just my space, not ours. Last weekend, he said we should save money and stop eating out. I agreed. I actually love cooking. But I don't really get the chance to because he's always wanting to eat at his parents' house. He says it's easier, that his mom does a better job. So I finally made lunch for him. I was excited. But for one of the dishes, I used the wrong oil. We only had olive oil at home. And he got so upset, he later even called me a moron.
Nope. No. No.
Nope.
No.
Nope. No. He also said I needed to learn from his mother and that I wasted so long cooking. 3 hours, including prep, cooking, and washing the dishes. Sorry, why are you washing the dishes?
Because she did such a terrible job.
Yeah, you gotta get out of here. He
Bro.
does not want to be in a relationship with you.
If someone
Wants
makes
to
me
be
a
in relationship with
sandwich,
his mommy.
if somebody makes me a sandwich, I get so like, oh, you're an angel.
I will cry.
I don't think I'll ever forget the way that felt. I had a miscarriage last year with him, and before that happened, he wasn't really there for me. I carried heavy suitcases by myself. He wasn't around for me that much. He was mostly busy with his own chores and his parents' chores, but during the miscarriage, he showed up. He was supportive. He even cried multiple times for the loss of our baby. And afterward, he told me that if I ever got pregnant again, he would move in and actually be present. What are you talking about?
He will be there for the baby. That's
What are you talking about? He literally just told you he would only be there if you had a baby. He
But-
would only move in and be present if you had a baby. Are you guys even married?
But she's hearing it like if you ever have a baby,
Oh.
I'll move in.
I'll move in.
and
I'll
be
be there.
there.
Like, that's crazy.
Whereas he's saying like, yeah, if we have a baby, I'll move in. But like, otherwise, I'm gonna eat freaking Tostitos at my freaking mom's basement,
That's
dude.
insane. Now, my period is 18 days late, but I've tested negative on pregnancy tests.
Oh.
And I asked his opinion on moving in. He says the solution is for me to move into his parents' house so we can all be together. I know he wants to take care of them. They're getting older. He says it would make life easier. For him? For them? Not for you.
What?
I get it, but I've already given up so much. I just really want my own space. I've never really had my own space growing up. And the confusing part is, we also have good times. He can be sweet and funny and supportive in certain moments. We laugh together sometimes. We go to the gym. We have quiet, peaceful weekends now and then. But it's like those moments never fully erase the weight of everything else. He also refuses to have an official wedding. Y'all, what is this?
So you're not married?
Well, I'm wondering if they're like they've had like a civil wedding, but not the whole ceremony and stuff. I don't know. But official wedding does sound like they're not married.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe they're legal.
Maybe they have the paperwork.
Yeah, the paperwork.
That's what I was. I
Yeah.
was thinking like legally married.
Right.
I've told him so many times that it means something to me, but he says I care about the wrong things. And when I talk about my dreams or ideas, he shuts them down. Girl. 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 Says I need to be practical. Just find another job. My current job is around 98K Canadian dollars. Have a baby, help him buy another house so we can all live with his parents. He does pay for the mortgage, and since I'm still earning Canadian dollars, he says he doesn't want me to contribute right now because the exchange rate is bad. He's also made it clear that he wants me to start earning in US dollars as soon as possible to help him. And honestly, I feel bad that I can't contribute more financially. It makes me wonder if I even have the right to complain about how things feel. Yes. Like maybe I should be quiet, grateful, and stop asking for more. No. I don't know what to do. Has anyone else felt like this in their marriage? And there is an update. You need to leave him.
Run.
Because he's already left you. He was never with you. He was always with his parents.
You got together with him and his parents.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
He just needs to, you guys need to get divorced, and he needs to propose to the people he really is married to, his parents.
His parents, yeah. And then
He
they
needs
can
to marry
live
his
together forever.
Yes.
There is a part I didn't include in my original post. His mom does have some health problems. Her kidneys aren't functioning that well, and she has high blood pressure. He helps her put her medications into the weekly medicine box and monitors her blood pressure daily. And he's even said he's willing to donate his kidney to her. But the doctors have said she's not at that stage yet and advised against it. But when I stay over at his parents' place, most of the time he's just on his computer, watching TikToks or lying in bed.
Yep.
He helps when asked, but it's not constant care. For example, he would help his parents buy groceries, help his dad with navigating tech stuff on the phone. And I keep thinking, couldn't we have our own home and still be present for his parents? Our home is just a 5-minute walk away from his parents' house. Wow.
Leave. Why are we with him?
For all the questions asking why I stayed so long, it's because when we're both in a good place, he can be very sweet, kind, loving, and our conversations go very deep. And yeah, that's because people are very good at love bombing to get you to stay.
Indeed. He's doing that
gaslighter.
to continue to get what he wants and just not care about you.
We've had nights talking for hours when we were long distance. I feel like that sort of connection is rare, hard to find. I've only had that kind of connection with one other person before. By the way, you can connect with us by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story, but I really need OP to leave him.
What we desperately need. You
Yeah.
deserve so much. OP, you're freaking awesome.
Yeah, don't have a child with this man.
Don't, please.
Please don't.
Please, please, please don't do that.
Ay. But there's a little bit left to the story. And one other thing is marrying him gave me the push to leave my original home with my mom. I love my mom, but growing up, my mom has been a very critical person. She's always negative, kind of like my husband. And we had to tiptoe around my mom's emotions. Basically, our house was always messy. We don't really have food on the table. Me and my sister always do the chores. I've taken on the parent role at home and took various part-time jobs and helped provide for my mom. Even now, I send my mom $1,500 Canadian every month. I've given so much of my life to my mom, and getting married gave me a reason to move out. As of today, I didn't go over to his parents for lunch. He hasn't really contacted me, and I guess he went to the gym alone. And some comments. Comment 1, he also refuses to have an official wedding. So are you legally, contractually married to him or not? If not, just pack up and go home. If you are, consult a lawyer ASAP. You might be eligible for an annulment. I would suggest that you take the following steps. Don't spend a cent more in decorating his house. Sell the non-essential furniture you bought. Don't go to his parents' place for lunch. Spend the time at home making lunch for yourself, cooking for yourself. Either stop having spicy sleep with him or go back onto birth control. This is a very weird and unusual situation. Are there any cultural dynamics in play, e.g. that he would be expected to live with and pay for his parents? OP responds, thank you for taking the time to write this. I really appreciate it. To give some context, he's Chinese Filipino and I'm Chinese. He's told me in the past that it's normal in his culture, the Philippines, for the son to take care of the parents, and he wants to have a multi-generational family under one roof. I've told him before marriage, I want us to have our own home. I think our current living arrangement is his middle ground. We are legally married, but he doesn't want a wedding ceremony or says we will have one later on or after kids. Thank you for the advice you wrote. And folks, that is the end of that story.
All right. Hey, you're a local Filipino here.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
We love our weddings.
Yeah.
I'm not saying speaking for every single Filipino, but they're mainly Catholic and they love extravagant weddings.
Well, I'm interested by his like claim that like this is all very traditional and stuff, but then not having, the very basic tradition of like having a wedding.
Yeah, but then also I understand the taking care of your parents thing. That is one thing. That's just not Filipinos. A lot of Asian households have that, or a lot of other cultures have that, where they stay together in one house and it's a huge family. And even when you get married, sometimes you move in. We've read stories like this.
Yeah, but
and it wasn't just
taking care of his family.
Yeah, but he's not taking care of it. He's not caring. He's 37. He's practically 40, and they're taking care of him.
Yep.
He's shown no signs. If it was him, like, okay, we're living under our roof and my parents are living with us because they're elderly and we have to take care of them, is one thing. But he's like, no, I want to live there because mommy makes the food better and she's not doing well, but I'll only do it when she asks for my help.
Yeah.
He's a man-child.
Yep.
I'll give her my kidney because how else am I going to get my laundry done?
Yeah, he's like, I guess it's worth it.
I guess I'll do it.
But folks, that's the end of that story. So
Yup.
hopefully she gets out.
Please.
Please leave.
Please do
leave.
that.
My husband has never been the same after his father passed away.
Yeah.
I, 23 female, met my husband, 28 male, when I was 19. He had just gotten a divorce because his ex-wife cheated on him while they were both deployed. He claims that he tried to forgive her and work on it, but she was done. He still has marriage books and self-help books from that era of his life. By the way, this comes from Indeed an Adult 88, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we will call him Alex. We dated for about 5 or 6 months and then got married in a small ceremony. It was fast, but I knew he was what I wanted. Looking back, I would have grown up more and gotten to know him better, but I truly have no regrets. Live and learn, I suppose. We worked together in the military, even after being married, and I fell pregnant almost a year after saying I do. Wow, they're working so fast. Our little one is currently a toddler and doing well. Since I've met Alex, his father, Zach, 60s male, has been terminal. Heart attacks, and more surgeries. From what I've gathered, Zach, Alex's only sibling Jason, who is 1 year older than Alex, and Alex's mother all kept him in the dark about the severity of the issue. Oh wow. Their reasoning was that Zach was constantly being deployed and they did not want to add extra stress. So they waited until he came home from his third back-to-back deployment and broke the news. This was right after Alex and I initially met. Oh wow. The news was very upsetting to Alex, obviously, and the fact that we were still new in our relationship made things awkward for me, but I did my best to be supportive. Alex took it especially hard because his dad had always been the strong one. Alex's mom had a stroke at a very unusually young age, early 40s, and it left her paralyzed. From the time he was a preteen up until he left home, his dad worked full-time and took care of their now disabled mother. It was unexpected. Flash forward 3 years, and we got the call that Zach was placed into hospice care. We immediately jumped on a plane and made a 14-hour flight. The family spent a wonderful 10 days together before we had to depart. Zach passed away less than 3 weeks later. There was no funeral, per Zach's request, but Alex did get to speak to him an hour before his passing. I knew that things would be rough. I was patient, I listened, I gave him space, I didn't ask anything of him, and moreover, I just let him grieve at his own pace. Alex and I have grown up together over the course of our marriage. Things haven't always been great. He has always had a temper, but through therapy and compromise, we had really built a strong communication system. We were a team. That all went out the door not even a month after Zach's passing. Currently, my husband put in a work request to move closer to his mother so he could help be there for her. He regrets not spending enough time with his dad and didn't want that regret with his mother. It was a huge change for our family and it would hinder my schoolwork, but I didn't mention any of that. I just said, okay, whatever you want to do, I'm here for you. The request was initially approved and then fell through due to timing errors. That only added fuel to this fire. So now on to the problems. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. The problems. Alex is constantly shutting me down if I try to air grievances. Why did you come in here just to witch? I'm not talking about this. If I persist about an issue, he will get up in my face and scream as loud as he can, like spitting red in the face, because he says it's the only way to get me to shut up or calm down.
Okay, so we leave. That's when you leave the relationship, like regardless of if this is because of grieving or because of whatever, you know, and it very well could be, or like you said, you kind of didn't know each other very long before this happened. So this might just be how he is. You don't even know. Like,
I know, that's kind of what I'm wondering too, is like, she's saying like, oh, he changed once his father passed, but like, you only knew him for like a few months before his father passed.
You did not know him.
Yeah. He no longer helps out around the house at all. He works full-time. I'm currently not working anymore, but I'm going to school full-time and bring in almost equal amount of income. I watch our child the majority of the time. If I ask him to get up so I can sleep in or give the kids bath or make dinners, he just won't. He'll fall asleep while watching the baby or zone out completely on games and let the baby get into whatever. I can't even express how dangerous this is because he just absolutely will not listen. He has been sleeping through alarms and just not showing up to work. While work has been understanding, I know this understanding will not continue, and that puts our livelihood at risk. Any requests for therapy, doctors, coaching books, etc. are all ignored and just dismissed. He will just not go. He claims that they always blame him and believes that they have a vendetta. Classic. We have not had spicy sleep in 6 months.
Wait, I'm confused. How long have they been together?
I think at this point it's been a while because he got a divorce. Then they met soon after.
Yeah.
Then they were together for about 6-ish months, I think she said, before they got married. And then had a kid a year later. Now their kid is a toddler. So I think
And the dad's passing was...
I thought that was like soon after they started seeing each other.
We must be wrong about that. You know, because no one would be like, he's changed. Like, it's like, well, you've only known him for 2 months. You don't know. It's like, yeah, he changed. But it's like a year and 6 months. Like, okay, that's enough time to kind of know somebody enough to see them change.
So, okay, everyone kept Alex in the dark about the severity of the issue. So maybe...
And he was on deployment.
And then they broke the news about the severity of the issue, like, right after they met, pretty much. There is a sentence, it says, this all started, like, he realized how severe it was, like, basically right as they started dating, and then flash forward 3 years, and then Zach was placed into hospice care. So this is 3 years into their relationship.
Okay.
So they have known each other for a while.
Okay.
Well, I've always been high libido and him low libido. It has never been this bad. Spicy sleep is a sticking point for me. I want it and I need it. However, nothing. He'll watch corn every day, but spicy sleep is off limits. No kissing, no touching, no cuddling. Just stone cold. It's also worth noting that my mother passed away exactly 1 week after his father passed away, last summer. And I did not receive any sympathy from him whatsoever. I didn't harp on it because my mom and I were not close, but it still hurt. I just do not know what to do anymore. I'm back and forth between divorce or just flat out cheating. I wouldn't because it's wrong, but I have been thinking about it more and more. Or just pretending like nothing is wrong and maintaining the status quo. Things have never been perfect, but they have never been this bad. He sees no issue with his behavior and blames it all on me. Reddit, do I give up on him? Is it because of his dad? I'm at a complete loss. Yeah, give up on him. I think it's time. It's been a year since his dad has passed away. Obviously, you know, everyone grieves in their own ways and it takes time for people to grieve and, you know, different timelines. But if someone's way of grieving is to just like yell at you and to ignore their children and to not want to be around you and to blame all of everything on you.
Yeah.
That's a little more than just grieving.
Yeah, I mean, he's imploding.
Yeah.
He's gonna lose his job, doesn't care for anyone around him, doesn't really even care for himself. Like,
yeah,
he's imploding. And it's like, you can be like, hey, we need to fix this. But if all he's gonna throw back at you is just aggression and anger and blaming you for it, you can go, well, since I'm doing this to you, I'll remove myself from the situation.
Yeah.
So, because I don't want to do this to you. So I'll leave, you know, regardless, because that's of course, that's not true. I'm not saying that you are the cause. Right. I'm just saying,
but like,
if that's his mental track,
then yeah, get out of there.
Then say, okay, I'll leave you so that you can get fixed.
Yeah, because you should leave anyway. It sounds like you should leave anyway, for sure. There is an edit. I sat Alex down after he had a chance to unwind after work and told him to pull out his phone and set a timer. We agreed upon a time of 10 minutes, the minimum time requested, and he kept asking for what? I read him this post almost verbatim, skipped the family stuff to save time. 10 minutes isn't a lot to read this novel. I then read him some comments about this thread, some brutal, some sympathetic. He sat there quietly the entire time, albeit made a few faces. After the timer went off, he let me finish the last comment I was reading, and then asked me if I was finished. I told him I loved him. I told him that I care about his health and happiness, but I also told him that I wasn't going to continue to do this, and that I am not the only person in the world who thinks this is unacceptable. That was about 2 hours ago. Since then, I've retreated upstairs for some homework. I've received dinner, a clean house, and heard him and our daughter play. He's still quiet, but his actions are totally a different person. Obviously, it is too soon to tell, but just know that he is reading these comments and they're impacting him somehow. I will update in a few days, and we do have that update.
Okie dokie.
How do we feel about that?
I mean, sometimes that is,
yeah.
when someone's in the void, sometimes being like, all right, I'm going to leave you completely alone. That is the wake-up call. Sometimes people need a wake-up call.
Yeah, maybe it's a good way for her to, like, really say all of her feelings when it's already, like, written out here. You know?
Yeah, I think that was a good move.
Yeah.
Going through the Reddit post and then going through the comments.
Yeah,
I
think so.
Yeah, that was a solid move.
I think so. We do have an update. So,
Yeah.
Other people asked me how it was that I possibly brought in any income if I wasn't working and just a college student full time. Like I addressed in the previous post, I served in the military for almost 5 years and received a full ride tuition along with some other monetary benefits that set me up very well financially. I apologize if that was confusing for some readers. The last point before the update, I will not be addressing our issues with Alex's family. This upset quite a few people, but I just do not feel comfortable doing that. Alex's mother just lost her partner of over 40 years and is already suffering medical issues herself. The last thing I want to do is add extra stress to an elderly woman. Alex has been avoiding his mother via telephone as it is, so outside of just letting her know the situation, I don't think her influence would have any impact. I understand why people feel that I should have done that, but it's just a hard limit for me. On to the update. Shortly after I posted the original post, I have received tons of responses, private messages, and comments. Some of them were incredibly helpful, offering me a place to stay, links to helpful websites, etc. Some of them were very harsh and accused me of being a bad mother and wife. But overall, the response was the same. Alex was wrong, and grief is not an excuse to be a harmful wiener hole. I added an edit to the last post, but I'm not sure it was seen by the masses, so I'll give you a quick version here. But we already saw that, of course, so we're just gonna... During the course of me reading, he remained quiet and stone-faced. When the timer went off, he allowed me to finish the comment that I was already halfway through. And then when I was finished, he asked me, "Is that all?" I emphasized that I truly did love and care about him, that his happiness and overall health was greatly important to me, but I also let him know that I could not and would not continue to live like this, nor would I allow our daughter to be exposed to this type of behavior. She needs to understand that this is not okay, and I don't want her to ever feel like I've been feeling these last 6 months. All he said was, "Okay," and went outside to smoke. That night, I had a bit of homework, so I went upstairs to work on that. When I came back downstairs, he was playing with our daughter, had dinner going, and I'd cleaned up the house. I thanked him and went to sleep. The next day was supposed to be his consult for a sleep study. He ended up oversleeping again 2 days in a row and missed his appointment. That's really funny. You have an appointment for a sleep study and you oversleep, so you missed the appointment.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's pretty funny. From what I've gathered, he was reprimanded at work and was basically told that if he did it again, he would be facing some serious backlash. He was able to get a new appointment for the next day and ended up staying up all night so he wouldn't miss work or the appointment. That whole day, he was very quiet.
Dude, this guy is the worst sleep study subject of all time.
Yeah.
He's like, he's either sleeping in past his appointment or he's like, all right, I just won't sleep
won't
at all.
sleep.
You're skewing the data.
Is that not what you have to do? Is like
I don't know.
I've heard that you have to stay up for so you like can fall asleep or something, but that would make sense that it's like you get
I guess it would
numbers.
depend on the study. If the study is like, how fast can people fall asleep at just baseline?
Right.
It's like, yeah, well, when you haven't slept all night, you fall asleep pretty quick.
Very fast. Yeah, interesting. That whole day, he was very quiet, but still helpful. I made no comments and just kind of gave him some space. He ended up showing up to his appointment yesterday at 8 in the morning, and by 10, he still hadn't been seen. I guess at some point, a high-ranking doctor noticed that Alex had been there for an unusual amount of time and ended up being the one to see Alex personally. As it turns out, this doctor was the commander, basically the boss, of all the medical clinics where we were located and has some major pull. So Alex told him of his sleep issues, and the commander immediately clearly saw through the BS and asked him what else had been going on in his life. Alex explained the situation with his dad and for whatever reason ended up pulling out his phone and showing this man what I had wrote on my previous post. Whoa, so we're getting a doctor's insight here.
Yeah.
Oh boy. To say that I was shocked was an understatement. This man, who had been completely unwilling to change his actions for the last 6 months, voluntarily showed someone who could in all honesty ruin his career what his wife had thought of him and his actions. I don't know how impressed we should really be with
that sounds kind of dumb and almost manic. Like,
yeah, I'm not that impressed, my guy.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with him, like, low-key.
Yeah.
This feels like he's almost flailing.
Yeah, like, I feel like you could see that as like, oh yeah, look at him trying to improve and like risking his job. But I feel like you could also see that it's very possible for him to be like, look at what my wife is pulling. Look at what my wife's making up about me. Yeah.
I do like that we have seen some short-term changes right now. If we can continue to build on that and it stays consistent, I like that.
Yeah.
But
we're just gonna keep an eye out on this guy. Apparently, there was a very stern talking to about the screaming, and the commander tore my husband an absolute new one. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, commander.
However, he also decided to help him. Alex is now on antidepressants. He is being ordered to get a psychiatric evaluation. He will be undergoing a sleep study. The original reason for the appointment, he's a teeth grinder and breathes weird in his sleep. And he also will be meeting with his commander personally for the next 6 months, twice a month, to analyze Alex's improvement. Okay. The commander suspects that the psychiatric evaluation will result in Alex going to some type of therapy or anger management. The best part in all of this is that if Alex does not go, he will get in trouble at work, which he does not want. He does not have a choice. I guess when this commander was younger, he had a very similar experience, so he sympathizes with Alex. Regardless, this man is an absolute blessing, and whatever his motives were, he is saving my husband's life. I am indebted. Now, Alex isn't necessarily the happiest camper about all of this, but he's not resistant towards it. He's been on this medication 2 days now, and I know that the SSRIs can take up to 2 months to take effect, but I think Alex is having a placebo effect because he's already claiming to feel so much better. Last night, he went to sleep at a reasonable hour and woke up with our daughter without complaint. He took her to the park for the first time in a long time and also made breakfast. While these may seem minor from the outside, this is the most improvement I have seen in such a long time. It is crazy to me. I don't know how to feel. By the way, I know that you should feel good because we have full episodes of more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. You're going to feel great. I promise.
You're going to feel great.
Great. But there is a little bit more to this story. But okay, seeing some improvement. I'm glad that he got some consequences. I'm glad that the commander was like, yo, quit it.
He's like, I'm literally ordering you to take Prozac. Like,
yeah, literally. It does kind of suck that, like, you know, the problems that he was having with his wife wasn't enough to motivate him to go to therapy.
Well, I think it kind of,
we got there eventually.
Once she was like, I'm done, that was the motivation he needed to actually start to change, I think.
Yeah.
And it doesn't excuse, like, I would suggest maybe some counseling. There's some pretty big glaring red flags. You know, maybe all of it was caused just by grief, maybe not, but it's like.
Yeah. He's starting to figure things out. OP is sticking around a lot longer than I would have. But, you know, hopefully things do work out for the best.
He's starting to find the will to care.
Yeah. So there is a little bit more to the story. Alex and I haven't talked about us yet, but I'm not going to force it. Right now, this isn't about us, it's about him. Because if he is not okay, we will not be okay. I cannot change him. I cannot force him to love me or to love himself. I'm grateful for these changes, but I'm also feeling slightly resentful that it took someone else to convince him of what I've been saying for 6 months. But that's petty, and I recognize that. I will be doing individual therapy in hopes that I can work through what I have gone through for the last 6 months. I really hope that my husband and I can make this work, but I am not sure if I can ever look at him the same again. Only time will tell, and I am braced for whichever way it goes. I'm just glad that Alex is getting a second chance because before all of this, he was an amazing person, father, and husband. Thank you all so much. Without this post and your responses, I truly do not think that my husband would have gotten any better. I attribute your honesty and your genuine care for mine and my daughter's safety towards this happy outcome. You are all wonderful, truly. And that is the end of that story.
Okay. We got it. Okay.
We have some hope here.
We're going in a positive direction.
Yeah, exactly. I like that she's, you know, not just blindly forgiving, right? She's willing to work on this with him, which is great. Mm-hmm. She's going to work on herself, but she's still like, it's possible that this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Which is all you need.
Keep your eye. I mean, if backsliding starts and all that, you know, it's.
Right.
You need really like, I can't remember if it's 7 weeks or 7. I think it's 7 weeks to form a new habit. and then it's like 7 months to like cement it.
I
Like,
see.
so it takes a lot of time of doing something really consistently before it's like ingrained into you.
Right.
And that's why bad habits are really easy to make and hard to break.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I have hope for them. Hopefully everything turns out well. Best of luck, OP. But that is the end of that story.
I refuse to have children. Now my husband wants to open our marriage.
Stop it.
My husband, 31 male, and I, 29 female, have been together for 8 years. The last 3, we've been married. Little things keep adding up, and I don't even know how to approach these issues. He wants kids soon, but I can't trust that he'd support me. I'm trying to figure out if I try to work on us or just leave. And by the way, this comes from user Throwaway Chronically, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Recently, as in the last 4 years, I've been dealing with chronic health issues, but just this year alone, I've had 3 surgeries to fix various things for my health. Our spicy sleep life hasn't been good, and in the few years since I've gotten ill, maybe once or twice a month. He's told me that it's not enough, and he's feeling rejected, and it's making his mental health worse. But if we have kids, we won't be able to have spicy sleep while I'm recovering. I work 5 to 6 days a week, 12-hour night shifts in healthcare. I am the primary breadwinner in our relationship. He bounces from job to job and recently was unemployed for over a year while he was claiming to be applying to jobs. I know the job market is horrible right now, so I wasn't pushing. I found out he was lying. He hadn't applied for anything in about 6 months, including the jobs I got him recommended for through some connections I have. We got into a massive fight, and I basically told him if he didn't have a job at the end of the month, I was leaving, and he could figure out bills himself. Not even a week later, he was back working at his old job. I still do all the cooking, cleaning, and household upkeep. On my days off, I spend 3 to 4 hours just putting everything in order for the week. Even when he wasn't working, he wasn't doing anything except playing video games in another room while I slept. So when I'd wake up, there would be laundry I'd have to switch or cat litter I'd have to scoop. He wants kids soon, but with my chronic health problems, it's going to make children a really hard process on my body, lots of health risks, and I would basically have to be on bed rest the whole time and in and out of doctor's appointments. I couldn't work or do anything really, and I'm just scared I won't get the support that I need. I don't even know if I want to have kids with him anymore. He gets money every month from a settlement, and he says it's enough to make up for the income I won't be bringing in if I get pregnant. The settlement payout every month is less than 1/4 of what I make in 2 weeks. I feel like I'm his mother already. I feel like I'd be one of those married single moms. I've asked about therapy, individual or couples, and he is dismissive, saying therapy hasn't helped in the past. So I've asked about medications, but he doesn't want to take a pill every day. I don't want to come across as horrible or manipulative, but I'm about ready to write out everything I do, bill payments, chores, time at work, everything, and have him do it all for a month. Then tell me he thinks we can have kids right now. Edit. A few things since this is a real story and not AI, and I am a real person who is making choices in order to keep up with the current economy and situation. I work the hours I do so I can build up my paid time off and sick time for my procedure and recovery time. Yes, I have FMLA for these, but it only pays out 60% of my wage versus 100% if I use paid time off. Overtime accrues paid time off at double the rate and pays time and a half. We also have a pickup bonus of $10 an hour. I have been working at this hospital since 2015 as a CNA and phlebotomist since 2018 and an RN since 2020, so I have seniority, and that comes with benefits. Yay, unions. I work night shift because it has the flexibility for my schedule, and they work with me for my restrictions. I'm lucky enough to work in a hospital that uses lifts and is staffed as well as can be currently. Shift differential also gives me an additional $6 an hour, and that quickly adds up. My surgeries were laparoscopic, and recovery time is about 1 to 4 weeks on average. Surgery 1 and 3 were both exploratory. My second was to remove a lesion on my intestines that connected them to my abdominal wall, as well as a cyst on my ovary, and recovery was 4 weeks with 4 more on restrictions. I'm about to have a 4th surgery to remove my gallbladder. Recovery is 1 to 2 weeks with 2 weeks of recovery. Yes, I've had a lot of surgeries this year, but I haven't had any before this unless you count upper and lower GI scopes, pelvic floor testing, gastric emptying tests, x-ray CTs, and MRI, labs, genetic testing, and HEDA scans. Or maybe the diet changes and medications that you have to be on for months at a time before you see any real changes count as well. I don't know. I also have the birth control implant, and me coming off of that would involve about 3 different doctors' inputs and oversight. I blocked all of my husband's accounts and his friends' accounts that I know of. I plan on deleting this at some point, but I've just gotten angrier with each comment and everything I type out. At this point, I don't care if he finds this. Maybe it would be a wake-up call he needs. Oh, it sounds like OP is, like, done with baby man child husband.
Please be doneer. Be done now. You don't need to explain. I feel like OP keeps trying to convince us, and everyone in the comments is probably like, nah, girl, we're convinced. Leave him. And she's like, no, I really got to convince you.
No, I think she got there.
I hope so.
From the comments.
I
The
just need
comments.
you to
She's like,
convince
every
yourself.
comment I read, I'm even more upset at my bad husband.
Yeah, you just got to convince yourself, girl.
Our wedding was supposed to take place in November of 2020. That obviously didn't happen. We rescheduled to the end of 2021 so we didn't lose deposits. He quit his job about 2 months after our wedding. People do things like meal prep for a week and find relaxation in cooking. My hospital provides scrubs. When I'm home, I have more than 6 pairs of underwear. So it's not like I don't have clothes if I don't do laundry every day. And there's the update. I had my surgery a few days ago, and since I have time off, I figured I'd write an update for anyone curious. It will be long, and I apologize. I talked with my lawyer last week, and the hope is papers are to be drafted, and he will be formally served when he comes back from his work trip in 2 weeks. On one of my days off, I wanted to have a discussion about our relationship, and it didn't go well. I had spent the night cleaning and getting the house put together because my anxiety was so bad. When he woke up in the morning, I had breakfast made, and we made polite small talk. I started the conversation by asking him if he was happy in our relationship. Here's the summary of the conversation. Me, are you happy like this with us? I feel like we're roommates more than a married couple.
I don't think either of us have been happy for a while. I do still love you and want to raise children with you. You'll be a great mom. I've been meaning to talk to you about something.
Okay.
Do you remember my friends in the city and how they were having problems in their relationship after one of them came out as ace? How they opened their relationship so they could get his needs met?
At this point, I was just staring at him, but he kept rambling on.
I've joined some groups online, and they said it saved their marriage. And with how much I'm traveling now for work, it would be every other 2 weeks, you know? And I'm in this city, so it's not like it would be someone you know or would ever meet.
What the F?
I mean, think about it. We could have a surrogate this way. I know it would be a lot, but we could make it work. You're always talking about fostering or adopting, and it would just be like that.
Did you get someone pregnant? Is this your way of telling me you cheat on me when you travel for work?
No, God, no. There was one girl at a bar who was flirting with me, and it just felt nice to be wanted like that.
He then pulled out his phone and started showing me support groups he had joined online for poly people in monogamous relationships. There were probably 3 or 4 of them that he had been texting in for the last few weeks, trying to gain the confidence to talk to me about opening up our relationship. He brought up how he knows I've been thinking about switching to travel contracts and I can meet people there, but then when we come back home, we're together and married because we still love each other. I have nothing against people who are in poly relationships. We have friends who are and have met their partners and go out all together. It's just not for me. When I'm with someone, I want to be only with them, and I want to be the only person they're with. I don't want to get tested regularly. I don't want to risk surprise pregnancy. I don't want to feel jealous or wonder if he's texting another girl while he's supposed to be spending time with me. I let him finish his speech before telling him it hasn't felt like we've been married in a long time, and I'm done. Hearing he wanted to see other people really obliterated any last feelings that I had for him. We both want kids, but our timelines and futures are different now. I asked him to move out, and he didn't seem surprised. I drove to my friend's house because I just could not be there. We spent the day drinking and talking. Also, she is divorcing her ex over his regular corn usage. The next day I came home and he'd moved most of his things out. His side of the closet was empty. Some wedding photos were gone and the house felt incredibly empty. Even though I was used to being alone when he traveled, this was different and my heart hurt. A few days later, his mom reached out to check on me. We had lunch and talked about everything. She asked if I'd consider couples counseling, but I told her I'd been asking for that for over a year and he always refused. I explained I can't keep feeling like his mother and supporting everything alone. By the end, we were both crying and she hugged me goodbye. Dang. That must be a rough mom convo.
Yeah.
Just being like, yeah, I literally, I don't know, maybe you can be his mom still because he needs one. He came over the next day to talk and it was awkward. He tried to kiss me and I turned my head. He apologized for not helping at home and said he was looking into a job in his field so he wouldn't have to travel. I told him I'd have divorce papers ready soon.
Nice.
Yeah, you don't worry about not traveling for me. I'm divorcing you.
You can travel far, far away from me and never come back.
Yes, you can go get a job with Lord Farquaad in the far, far away land.
Please.
Yes.
You can go drop that ring off at Mordor because I don't want to see it again.
In the volcano.
That was really good, and I didn't even realize that it would be so good until I had finished it. Because I was just thinking, like, that's a farce. But then I was like, the ring. Sorry, guys.
Are you hearing this, folks?
I just need to analyze what I just said.
She's blown away by her own
Brilliant.
greatness.
How did I do it?
Much like, let's not go there. Divorce papers ready. I helped him pack some things that he'd left, and then he left again. By the way, you should never leave, because you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. Whether it's Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime and you can listen to 69. You heard it here first, folks. 69 days worth of stories. We have a little bit more story left. Good job on divorcing your man-child husband.
We got there, man. We got there in the end.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
What we wanted to see.
Let's get ahead of that. If we
Let's
got
do it
man-child
quicker next
husband for 6 months, talk to him about it at 3 months.
I think the theme of this episode of these two stories is expediency.
Yes.
When your partner starts acting crazy, take him to a doctor. When your partner starts sucking, divorce him.
At the appointment with the lawyer, we talked about what it would look like for the divorce process. Unless he wants the house, I plan to buy out his half. If I do that, then there's a good chance I won't have to pay alimony unless he fights for it. He has the potential to make more than me, so my lawyer doesn't think I'll have to pay anyway. We don't have children unless you count fur babies, and I took a pregnancy test recently to confirm that I'm not pregnant, so that won't be a factor. We each own our cats and pay for them ourselves. We have a joint savings, but I can prove I've been the only one contributing for the last 2 years, so it's likely I'll get most of that. I'm not touching it besides for the bills for the house per my lawyer's advice. I will hopefully have papers for my soon-to-be ex to fill out, and if he gets a lawyer, to look over. My 2 cats have been laying in bed with me and haven't left my side since he left. They're trying to make me feel better, but it's hard. My friend, who is also getting a divorce, has said that we'll have a hot girl summer together, and it makes me laugh, but I don't think I'm ready or even close to it. I don't want to meet new people. I don't want to go do first dates again. I think I'm just going to be single for a while. That's literally hot girl summer.
Hot girl summer.
Hot girl summer is about not dating.
I agree, yeah. That's the whole point of hot girl summer. You don't date, and then by the fall, that's when you start dating.
Yeah. Comment number 1, guy can't do dishes but is ready to be a father and sleep with strangers. Okay, bud. Yeah. Even says she'd be a great mother, but nothing about him. He was like, hey, you're taking care of me entirely, so I know you can take care of them too. This man was never going to do any parenting. Let's see, do we get OP replying here at all? No, because we all know, guess what, guys? That guy was a little goo gaga baby man child.
Literally.
Goo goo gaga, change my diapers,
and
man
I finally
child.
figured out what I was ordering. Here you go.
Goo goo gaga.
No, I was having a lot of trouble trying to think about the story and sushi.
Let's end it with that fool imploded his marriage and then ran home to cry at mommy's house.
My husband keeps referring to everything as only his I feel hurt.
That's ours, baby boy.
He'll stop me and say, my house. And when I get upset, he goes, it's my house, but since I'm yours, you get to live in it.
It's our house in the middle of our street. Our house.
Or something similar. It makes me feel so crappy when he does that. He sort of does it jokingly, but it happens without fail almost every time, and I've tried to tell him that it's hurtful, and he just laughs and says he's kidding. By the way, this comes from Lola and if you want to submit your own story, go to the /OK Story Time subreddit. I gave up on that one. Sorry. It's just letters. So, for context, he bought a house last year right before we got married. I was part of the entire process since we already lived together, but he put his savings into the down payment and it was his name on everything for obvious reasons. I had recently spent the last of my savings to pay off student loans and was only doing freelance remote work, so I wasn't really bringing in much money and was trying to focus on my mental health. He has a really good paying job and always said that he was happy to support me. I've even talked about getting a job in my field again if that would make him happy, and he assured me that I don't need to. Cool. But now it just feels like because his money is what buys mostly everything, that I'm some mooch just living off of him. Mind you, I'm pregnant with our first kid due very soon, and this was all discussed extensively that I was to be a stay-at-home mom. So why does he feel the need to hurt me like that? Does he secretly wish that I was working and bringing home more money? Does he think I'm pathetic? It makes me feel like I'm an effing roommate who hasn't paid rent and he's doing me a favor. And another thing that confuses me is if my parents or relatives ever want to give us anything like a wedding or baby shower gift, he gets annoyed because he wants to be the one to buy that stuff for us and doesn't want to rely on other people. And we do have an edit. Mm-hmm. How are we feeling so far?
Well, I think that it's not about him wanting you to necessarily get a job and start chipping in. I think he just wants to make it very clear that he's in control.
I agree. I completely agree.
I pay all the bills and I do all of this and it's me. And it's not saying like, oh, I'm so annoyed that you don't chip in at all. I think it's just saying like, I want you to remember, who's in power.
Exactly.
It's just not good.
I totally agree. But there is an edit to answer and address some common questions. There was no prenup and no mention of wanting to keep assets split after marriage. We have a joint bank account and I also maintain my old accounts under just my name. Some people suggested that he just wants to feel appreciated. I know that's not the case because 1, he explicitly hates being thanked. What? He says it makes him feel like he's just doing it for the praise and that makes him feel crappy. 2, I find ways of showing my appreciation by cooking, cleaning, managing everything in the home, taking care of him, etc. I don't want to portray him as some controlling a-hole who doesn't let me do things. It's tough to paint an accurate picture since I don't want to give out my entire relationship story on Reddit. I have freedom to do whatever I want and he is supportive. It's just like little things like this that make me question his deeper feelings, even though anytime it comes up, he reassures me that he is happy to support me and doesn't think I'm any less than he is. Another point is I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to put my child in daycare. He and I both feel that way. The possibility of remote work is still there too if I feel I can balance both, but I think the deeper issue lies in our communication and that's on me too. After taking into consideration the comments and different perspectives here, I'm going to address him tomorrow. Today was bad because he worked late and was exhausted and tried to be as open about how I feel as I can. I'll update here when I do. Thanks to everyone who felt the need to help. I do feel very validated in my concern at the very least, and we do have that update. That update. So thanks to everyone who commented. I was honestly shocked that it got so much attention and that so many people felt compelled to help. I ended up talking to him a few nights ago after I got all my thoughts down on paper and felt emotionally ready to talk about it. I said, when you point out that it's your house or that you paid for this and that, it makes me feel like I'm an unwanted guest in your house. I've told you how this makes me feel, but you still do it, which makes me feel like this isn't just a joke like you claim. I want to feel like an equal partner in our relationship, especially since we will bring our child into the world so soon. When we were engaged, we were both so excited to go house hunting together and make it our home for us and our future kids. You told me that you were more than happy to continue working so that I could stay home to take care of the house and kids and dogs, but lately it feels like you resent me for it. Now that I'm bringing our child into the world, I want to make sure that there's no hostility or resentment between us.
I like the emphasis on our child.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to hear your side because currently I just feel hurt and I'm worried that this will keep building if I don't address it now. If me going back to work and contributing to the mortgage is what you want, despite what you said to me a year ago, then let's talk about it. So I read that to him, and he immediately said that he never meant anything by it, and it was stupid and immature of him, and that he would work on it. Okay. He didn't realize it hurt me so much. After talking it through a little, he said that he thinks it might stem from growing up poor and finally building a comfortable life for
Which you
himself.
kind of said, yeah.
Yeah, we spotted that from a mile away.
Yeah, we all saw that.
Saw it coming. He agreed that it probably has to also be an ego thing, and maybe stems from the fact that his dad couldn't take care of their family and his mom had to work 2 to 3 jobs. He said that he wants me to feel like an equal partner and wants me to feel at home in our house. I also asked about putting my name on the deed, and he said he would.
That is a big deal.
Wow.
Because
That's
I
very
I
nice.
think we have like a lot of partners who are like, no, you did not pay for it. Like,
Right.
if we were to divorce, like, you would try and get the house. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, he's trusting. He's putting, I think it shows a strength in the relationship.
I do think that he means what he says, but I also need him to prove it with his actions and words for me to truly feel comfortable. That is something that we should all be going by.
Yes.
But we're moving in the right direction, and I'm glad I was able to express that to him. Thanks again for all the advice, and we do have a second update.
Let's dive in.
Let's just jump right in.
Whee.
I'm shaking and crying as I write this.
I'm shaking and
It's
crying.
not a great start.
Not good.
I now understand all the red flag comments on my last
Oh,
post.
no.
I didn't see it. I trusted him. I'm so effing stupid.
Oh, no.
I'm so scared. Ugh. Here's what happened. He went on a work trip this week and promised that we would sort the house deed stuff when he comes back. His apologies sounded
Oh my God,
genuine,
cheating.
and I believed him as much as I could without the proof yet.
Cheating.
Any ICUs?
Cheating.
Any ICUs? Ooh. Today, I just had a weird feeling in my body. His texts about work have been really updatey, like constantly telling me what he's doing or where he's going. I didn't think anything of it until earlier when he said that he was taking a nap and wouldn't be on his phone for a few hours.
Taking a nap.
For a few hours.
For a few hours.
This is weird because the man despises naps. They F up his sleep and he feels like crap afterwards. But I know something that probably doesn't feel like crap.
What?
You guys know.
Oh,
You guys all
trickster.
know.
Trickster,
You got us
you.
again.
Oh, how do you always get away with it?
So I checked his Google Play account from our home PC. His Google account is always logged in. He probably doesn't know that I know this, but I can see what apps he has or recently had installed on his phone. Why this is important. We were when we were dating, he had a severe spicy texting irregular use problem. What? We had broken up because of it. I had suspicions and caught him. But we ended up getting back together after he swore up and down it had stopped and even gave me permission to look at his phone whenever I wanted. I eventually stopped checking because I trusted him.
Dude, that was relevant information.
That's like a big piece of lore that we were missing. A few years have passed and we're obviously now married with a baby on the way, and I've trusted him. Our intimacy has basically passed away since I got pregnant, and I blamed that more on myself than him because I just don't feel in the mood or schmexing. He never tried anything, so I didn't have to reject him. It was just like he felt it too, I guess. I thought that was normal. So anyways, I looked at his account and saw that he had all the apps he used to use for spicy texting installed and recently used on his phone. Snapchat, Telegram, WhatsApp, Instagram, Tumblr. Well, he's got it all. He's juggling.
Tumblr?
But the worst one, the one that broke my heart seeing, is that he has Tinder installed.
Yeah,
Does
the
that
worst one was Tumblr. he's a nerd.
Yeah. And not only was he spicy texting other people, but I found out that he was a loser.
And no hate to anyone who uses Tumblr.
Yeah, definitely not. It's just a joke.
It's just a joke, guys. We all used it.
Does that mean on his work trips he's actually effing people?
Probably.
He's had a lot of work trips the past 2 months since he won't be able to travel for a while when the baby arrives. I'm devastated and angry, and I feel so stupid that I was making excuses for him and trying to paint him in a better light when everyone was telling me to run. Now, I don't know what to do. I want to call him and tell him that I know, but the only evidence I had is screenshots from the Google Play website showing that they were installed and recently used. I want to get real evidence because I know he'll uninstall everything before he's back. I mean, that sounds like evidence to me. I don't know. Part of me wants to just leave and go to my parents' house 4 hours away with the pictures printed out for him to find when he gets back, but I don't think that will solve anything. Help. And we do have another update, but what would we suggest
I
to
think
OP?
you take those pictures and go to your parents' house and then
Just go for it.
just, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't think we need that many excuses. Like, you know.
you know. I wonder if there's anything that you like feel the need to say to him or something. That might be good instead of just kind of like
But I think make
ditching.
sure that your parents are there, or like someone else is there.
That's
when you
good.
confront him.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Like maybe
Yeah.
you can go to your parents' house to like get your thoughts together
yeah,
and be like, I have to go on a work trip. I don't know what to tell you.
I gotta go.
And then maybe like bring one of them back with you to like
Yeah.
help gather your
Mediate.
things to
I
get out of
agree.
there.
I agree.
What did you say, Riley?
Mediate.
To like mediate and
Oh,
stuff.
mediate. Yeah, exactly. But we do
Agreed.
have a third update. So, holy crap. It's been a week. So I ended up taking advice from some of the comments telling me to go to my parents' house. My mom recently retired, so he bought my story that she wanted to celebrate with me and treat me to a spa day, plus spend time with me before the baby gets here. I just didn't trust myself not to break down or keep my cool when he got home. I had way too much to think about and figure out. Part of me was still wanting to defend him, I guess, because I didn't tell my mom why I came to see them until yesterday when I ended up telling her everything. We're meeting with a lawyer tomorrow morning to discuss my options. I'm no longer worried about getting my name on the deed, as I just want to be done with him. All I care about now is the safety of my child and trying to make the best decisions going forward. I want to be clear. I don't care about his money. I don't want to take as much as I can from him, like some people have been saying. F that. I can make decent money once I start working again, and I find myself incredibly lucky to have supportive parents who will let me stay with them until I get on my feet. As of now, he doesn't know anything. I've kept up my normal texts with him, keeping him updated on what I'm doing with my mom. And by the way, we always update our Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. We just put more and more full episodes of stories just like this one. Just search okay story time. Yeah, I think that's she's doing everything right. She's escaping,
Yep.
letting her mind figure out, the right things to say, because I
Yeah.
mean, I doubt she'll be able to speak clearly as soon as she found out,
No, like go take some time, go to your parents,
Exactly.
figure it out.
Yeah.
but you know what you have to do.
Yeah.
In
And
terms
get
of
that
leaving.
child support.
Yes.
But yeah, there is a little bit more to the story. Let's just finish it right up. As for getting checked for STDs, I will be getting that done in the next few days. The reason I'm not as worried about that is because we haven't had spicy sleep in months. He hasn't even tried. And I've had no symptoms. But I do know plenty of them have no symptoms, hence why I will be getting checked. I was also tested at the beginning of my pregnancy. Plus, I had more recent pregnancy-related blood work, which included a mandatory HIV test. Luckily, all negative. Thank you again to everyone who helped me understand the severity of the problems in my marriage and that I needed to leave him. I admit I was willfully blind to a lot of red flags, but knowing he's cheating on me again has made me painfully aware. I'm currently just trying to get through each day and will decide what else needs to be done after speaking with a lawyer. And it's to clarify, when I said I didn't want to take his money, I didn't mean I would not fight for child support or even alimony. I'm just not interested in taking him for all he's worth, as some were suggesting. Yes, I want my child to be financially taken care of. No, I don't want to go the extra mile to hurt him just for the extra money.
Dude.
And that is the end of that
There you go.
story.
I think OPs knows what to do, and I think it's
Yeah.
like a good mindset to be like, I'm not gonna try and like destroy him.
Yeah,
'Cause they're
that's good.
co-parenting, but you know
Yeah.
he sucks.
But that definitely sucks. Boo to this man and his
yeah.
business trips.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.